What's up, everybody?
Yeah,
Welcome back to another... Listen to this,
I think we
cunt.
keep it. I like it. I think we keep it.
Yeah, listen to this cunt. Fuck
like
me. Fuck me. One job. The cunt's got one job.
I've got all the jobs.
Welcome back to another episode of Fireside
hold up.
Yarns, you cunts.
Hold up. Should we check if are we recording video?
Yeah, we should probably
Yes,
check
we're
that,
recording
yeah.
video. Yes.
All right, Reese, we're good to go.
We're good? Okay, all right. So, welcome back to another episode of Fireside Yarns, Season 2, Episode 3. Apologies in advance. Actually, not even in advance, it's post. For my absence last week. And it wasn't because I'm fucking scared of the yogurt, you bunch of cunts. Nah, look. I had some pretty... fucked issues with my internet last week and I couldn't actually make it on, and then that was the only night we could record and none of our work rosters lined up, so the boys had to carry on without me.
Mate, people don't want to hear your fucking excuses. They just want results.
But
you're here tonight, so that's what matters.
Everybody's
honest-
been there.
To be honest, people probably just don't want to hear me, so I don't think he's had a real
I
loss
want to
anyway.
hear you, Reece. I want to hear you.
Thanks, mate.
But everybody's been there, right? When their fucking internet's down, it's bollocks. It is the worst, most horrible.
It's horrible.
Punch to the gut.
It's a pain in the butt. Yeah, super frustrating. Still waiting on things to get fixed. I don't recommend TPG anymore. I used to froth. I've been with him for fucking
He's gonna
like...
call the name.
Fireside
out.
Yarns
Yeah,
does not
yeah.
recommend TPG anymore.
Nah, fuck the dogs. Mate,
Aussie broadband.
I've been with him since 2010. Like, I'm
Wow.
not a new customer, man. Like, on and off between
12 years a
houses and
slave.
whatever. You know, and they've been great for that time, most of it. But lately, I don't know what it is, man. Like, the last 12 months especially, it's been utter dog shit. So, do not recommend, even though they're ranked like number one when you look at like ISPs for Australia. So, super frustrating. I'm trying to find a new one. So, if you know anyone that's better, hook me up.
Aussie
'cause
broadband.
I've
I
had a
went
gut
from-
full of the cunts.
I went over to Aussie broadband for the same thing. I moved house, and just getting me internet hooked up properly was just so fucking hard. And I think I was with Telstra, and I just ended up switching over to Aussie broadband.
Oh yeah,
Boom.
I mean, it probably just means that we should do more episodes in person.
I think
We
that's
should.
what it does mean.
We fucking should.
Absolutely. Actually,
That's what
speaking
we
of which,
that's our
there's-
biggest episode in fucking since the mental health. Is there our second biggest
Yeah.
one?
Yeah,
Except for
no,
maybe
no,
like
there
a-
is
Yeah,
the
yeah, yeah.
homelessness with Neve was the one after.
Yeah,
mental
that
health.
was up there too.
It was up
Yeah.
there. But
And the
speaking
ad,
of live
the ad.
ones, there's about to be a shed built up the block. So
Oh, mate,
yeah, just before winter,
Hey.
hey?
how good.
Fucking good too.
Right.
That's perfect
The slab
timing.
down.
When's that looking to be done by?
Whenever Jesse gets up there and builds it,
Well, Jesse,
he's pulling
Jesse.
he's pulling the fucking thing down, and we'll go up and give him a hand if I'm off. But
Yeah.
he's
Fuck yeah,
getting
That's-
up there.
yeah, mate. That's
Fucking
gonna be
good
awesome.
too.
Fucking oath. So yeah, back for another week. What's on the
Been a-
agenda, boys? Like,
Been a busy week this week, actually.
yeah, look, forgive me because I am really shit. I don't watch news. I'm not up to a date with current events, so yeah. I don't know how much help I'm gonna be tonight, but we'll get through it.
You're here for
Well,
the
me
chat.
neither. You know what I mean? I think what we have to represent, like what I've done for tonight, is I've looked too far again, like I did in Afghanistan, and kind of went really into the history of it all. But then I didn't have enough time to get up to where we are really now. So I think what we can represent is just people that have heard bits and bobs through the fucking ether and are under. Some of us are like, what do you mean, fucking nuclear war might happen between Russia and America? And they're invading where? And yes, so
Pretty
I
much
think
Reese the
all
other
these
night when we
questions-
mentioned it.
Yeah.
He was like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah,
It's like, am I going to have to read up on this? And we're like, yeah,
Is-
have a read. And then today he was like, I didn't read up on this.
pretty much. I've been up the beach all day. I'm fucking sunburned as shit, and yeah, so my mistake.
Fuck.
You know. I've
We
been
rely on you
pretty
for one
flat
thing.
out.
And you,
Hey, let's not start pointing fingers about relying on
Oh.
people for one thing, eh?
I get it done though, don't I?
Well,
Well, no.
I think Terra actually wrote a song about you.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, I think it's called "Always the Hard Way."
it is. Yeah,
something like
I'm not going to deny that. No, but it's not. Look, the
works.
Ukraine crisis isn't the only thing that's been happening around the world. We had the protests.
Freedom Rally.
Yeah.
Freedom.
He's
Dumber
been
nuts.
waiting to say that.
Well, I didn't even know that happened either. It was only because there was people at my work that went to it that I knew about it.
Oh, really?
We were all apparently there was over 1 million people there. Is that true?
Are you joking? That's the joke. The joke is that there was over 1 million. That they were saying
Okay.
we're going to get 5 million people here. Then we're like,
Are you
then there
sure
was over
that's
1
the
million.
joke?
Guaranteed. So the cops
Actually,
reckon,
yeah, I did see.
protests are about 10,000 at the most people. At the most 10,000.
That's where they were
Man,
meeting
look,
up.
They were sharing pictures. It was so funny. They were sharing pictures of Glastonbury and going, look at us. I can't believe us. We're so proud. I'm like, dude, that's Glastonbury. And then they shared a picture of Woodstock. Was it 69 or something like that? And people were like, look at all them fucking free Australians. And then someone's like, dude, that's Woodstock. And
Oh my
it's
god!
like they are, like literally they, look, I'm all for people coming and protesting. So as long as no one gets hurt and, you know, whatever. You know, I don't agree with them, but that's not what it's about. You know, that's
Look,
yeah.
from what I can gather, well, what I was told, I honestly don't know what exactly they were protesting. Apparently,
End
it
to
was
mandates.
protesting, mandates,
Yeah.
right?
End to mandates,
just
end
gonna
of
say-
masks. Yeah,
I can
they
tell-
had a little list.
Reese's internet's getting slow again because he just had a massive lag spike there.
Yeah, he's a little bit, but he's all right. He caught
Yeah.
up then, I think.
Yeah, I
I'm
think you're
sorry.
right.
You're all right.
But
But another thing,
Before we
go on,
get
Vinno, sorry.
into that, I think something that's more important there, and it's a bit of a contradiction to those marches, was the nurses this week went on strike
good.
for their working conditions.
paying more. Yeah.
Yeah, paying more, and the influx of, the overburden that's in the ICU and all that, etc.
Hospitals are getting packed
Yeah.
again. Yeah.
And I think it's a massive slap in the face, in my opinion, these sorts of marches and these people screaming freedom when nurses and doctors and hospitals have been doing their utmost to try and deal with this pandemic and get people healthy. And whether you're for vaccines or not, or for mandates or not, you go to one place when you do get massively sick, and
That's exactly right.
people are forgetting, or they haven't even taken into account, the workload on these nurses. And that showed with a couple of comments. And I know comment sections are just a cesspool, right? But it was
I
just...
didn't
look up.
Yeah.
It hurt to read some of the comments because there was the nurses, going on strike, and then there was people in the comments saying this is why we need to get rid of the mandates, without even thinking that the whole reason that the hospitals are inundated is because people won't follow the fucking mandates. And by removing the masks and stuff, which are working, whether you like to argue it or not, they are working. By eliminating
Provided
those,
people actually wear them correctly.
that's right. Yeah, but
Hey, I'm guilty. I've done it 100 million times.
oh man, I've walked in and forgotten, it's in my pocket or something like that. But removing these mandates while it is still so rampant, I think is just going to put more of a
I guess
workload on these people, on the doctors and the hospitals, and the
I understand
medical team.
that medical staff and stuff have been under massive pressure and shortage, working stupid hours, and for most part being underpaid and underappreciated. 100% back all of that. On the other hand too, I can also see people's frustration because they pushed for the vaccine where I know New South Wales is like 95-96% vaccinated.
Yep.
And I get it because everyone was promised that life would go somewhat back to normal after we were vaccinated. That's the whole point of being vaccinated. know, like.
Well,
So I
vaccination's
understand.
only
like,
one. It's only one way to attack it. Masks.
What the
Yeah,
contact
I
tracing,
understand that, but
flexing,
I
yeah.
guess it's kind of, you know, we're over 2 years in now. People are frustrated, and not just
I get
people.
that.
I mean, like workers as well. Like everyone's frustrated. Everyone's sick of it. Everyone.
I get that, but we're not
Yeah.
in lockdown anymore, right? We've moved forward.
No.
If all you've got to do is
Correct.
put a piece of cloth over your mouth when you go into a shop or somewhere like that, and that is going to reduce the spread. I mean, you've had COVID, Reese. You can, you know, speak first-hand experience of what it did to you.
Yeah.
And the impact that still has, you know, because people have to take time off work, you know, the 7 days. There is bigger impacts than just... you know,
And that's
people
half
getting
of what
sick.
it was.
That's right, yeah. So,
That's right. Yeah, it used to be 2 weeks. Yeah.
but people are still dying, you know, from complications. Whether you want
Oh,
to argue that, you know, they've got pre-existing health conditions, they may do. But, you know, COVID is coming through and killing off people that are already struggling or struggling immune systems. So, you know, we have moved forward, and yes, the vaccine rollout, you know, promised a lot of things, but that was prior to Delta coming through. Actually, Delta had just started around that time.
We got a
Omicron
terrible
then came through.
government. We got a terrible government
it's
with
just been
terrible
handled really
communication
badly.
skills.
That's right.
Like I do understand people not understanding.
Yep.
I do. And like Reese was saying,
There is a lot of
you
confusion.
try and come together, and you're like, all right, this is what we're gonna do, and then you do it, and because they're either lied to us, or because we've got a horrible government right now, either because they lied to us, they're purposefully fucking splitting the community up on a party basis. I think they're obfuscating through everything, and they're making everything so harder, and they're also trying to put blanket fixes on everything, where it's just not gonna work.
Well, at the
Some
moment,
of the restrictions they're putting on some places and then not on other places, it allows people who are already frustrated to be like, look at that doesn't make sense, or how come I'm allowed not wear a mask when I'm talking to someone beside them welding, but I'm not, but I can take off my mask if I'm sitting beside someone eating. And you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like what's the difference? You know,
Exactly.
And then you might also say, well, hey, you're welding, you should be wearing your respirator and mask anyway. And I'll be like, hey, I'm just doing a tack, mate.
Dave's just saying that. Dave's just saying that because he
It's
has
just
to with his job.
Health and safety officer.
But look,
Yeah.
and it doesn't help that, you know, the politicians are more focused on the next election now instead of moving forward. I mean, we all saw fucking Scott Morrison's
Wait, do I
shithouse
have to
attempt
vote
at playing
soon?
a ukulele. So
What?
Do I have to vote soon? Is that a thing?
Not yet. Maybe
Not
vote Albo. just as like a, not that Albo's in Flash, but it's all
not
about
Morrison.
harm reduction, the lesser of two evils, and measuring your vote. Nobody can go out there and vote for who your favourite person is. I just believe he's been shit on everything, shit in the fires. That's another thing for me. Look, I'd love if we fought this like we do fires. I know there was a lot of political crap around the fires, but Aussies, when we go through something big in fires, we're like, all right, everybody, let's, you know, there's restrictions now. We got to be responsible, like on all levels. We love our fires. You know what I mean? Now we are.
We love you,
underfunded them
Vinno.
too. Yeah. Oh yeah.
Don't roll your eyes
Oh,
at
yeah.
me.
Oh,
Hey,
you.
listen
But
to it.
see, the thing with
Accept my
Firefighting,
love.
train driving motherfucker.
the thing with fires though, and this is the frustrating thing I know for a lot of the people in the field, the medical field, is, you know, with a fire you can see the destruction, you can see the damage, and you can, you know, you can physically see the fire,
You
right?
feel it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whereas, you know, a virus you can't see, and unless you've actually had it and felt the effects, you know, you can't get an appreciation for it. You might have lost loved ones to it, yeah, but you don't get an appreciation for how it feels until you've got it, sort of thing. So that's the difficult part, and that's one of the massive hurdles, I think, that is hard to overcome. And like you said, Dave, having that information and the communication from the government and the people that we should be getting that information from would have made a massive difference throughout this whole pandemic.
But
It's been
be open
fucking
to talk to
shithouse.
these people. They're confused. And like we were talking about, get out. Like we were talking about on the
fuck out.
other show about ideologies. Like we're in a less religious world now, and I'm not a religious person, so I'm not like let's bring back God. But when you get rid of those institutions that bring people together and make them sing and dance and give them something to do and shit, they're fucking like, they're at home twiddling their thumbs. It's like, how do I not beat me wife today? You know what I mean? I used to go to church. But now, like, but you know, no, but those type of people, those knuckle dragging, normie chud people that can fall victim to, you know what I mean? Not just them, but and others too. But you know what I mean? Those people need a place to fucking, you know what I mean? They need someone to give their banana to and follow. You know, and even though it's ironic that they think they're doing the exact opposite, but I feel for them. I think we need to talk to them. I think a lot of time these people just want to be heard, and they want someone to maybe give them an answer back that isn't very, you know, in their face and maybe not make fun of them being knuckle dragging wife beaters. But I feel for them. I feel for them. You know, I honestly do. I think they're very confused people. You see it in America, particularly with that Q movement. It's affecting people from big truckers that we love to fucking little old ladies to moms and dads. Like, it's affecting everybody. Kids are mad in on it. I don't know. I think it got to that. It's getting to this stage now when spitting vitriol at them's not working anymore. I think that only makes them more powerful, and it makes them dig their heels more in, and it makes their community stronger because they get together now, and now they can say fuck them.
Yep.
You know, look at us now. Now I'm not as ostracized. They used to be a fucking place for these people. They were the crazy guy in the town. But now all the crazy guys in the town can talk through the internet, and now they got crazy guy town.
Too many
group.
Opinions.
Yeah, and they can all find each other in the town. Before they were like stuck in the corner of a town. No, they're all together now.
Yeah,
right?
you can rock
For better or worse, you know. In a good way, we can kind of corral them like sheep. You know, but in another way, we could.
He just keeps. In one breath, he
what's
says,
the saying?
"We've got to stop
No.
insulting them."
No,
while
because
it's insulting them.
they know
now
we
we
don't
heard
agree.
them up.
They know we don't agree, but they know that we agree that we should come together and that they should be listened to. And I think they'd be happy disagreeing with me, but still knowing
There's
that
a
I'm
lot
not
of
gonna
people in
yeah.
this world now that have voices that should not be listened to.
People could argue.
I agree.
That
That shouldn't be. That shouldn't.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know
Yeah,
about
we're
listen to.
Wait, we are probably three of them. You know.
Yeah, don't. Here, actually, I want to do a quick disclaimer here. If you are looking for expert consensus or scientific views, don't leave
Don't
here,
look here.
Go straight to the Joe Rogan Experience.
Before he gets cancelled.
Disclaimer. That was not a real disclaimer. But here, I know what you mean. It's like these people shouldn't be listened to, but I think
I
they
didn't
should.
say that, did I?
No, Reese said there's just some people out there that shouldn't be listened to. Shouldn't be believed, maybe, but I
Don't
like
listen to
listening
me
them.
ever.
Yeah, us.
That's not true.
Well.
There was some funny stuff on the convoy as well, like that, because the Canberra notice board was like at war with their Facebook groups. So they were so they were infiltrating each other and posting each other's comments, and you'd have people that were going down Northbourne Avenue, which is a big strip in Canberra, and they were going down heaps of times. This one guy got like 33 speeding fines because he didn't know it was like 50 there, and what they're doing is they're going around the loop all, to make it look like there's more of them as well, so they'll spend the whole day just driving around in a convoy. And then another one, what did they say? It was like, oh my God, I got a speeding fine. They're like, oh my God, me too. And it's like, they're minutes away from each other. It must be some type of conspiracy. But it's like, you're in a convoy. it's gonna be, you know, you're in a convoy. There was another one there where they took a picture of pigeons. So like, there's an awful lot of pigeons. There's an awful lot of pigeons landing around here. I think that they're fucking drones. Like all this kind of like, and you see, it came to town. America
Wasn't that the
came
whole
to
idea
town.
of the pandemic though, so they could change the batteries in the birds?
Probably. Who
But
knows?
So it's when they,
I've never heard that before.
it's when they start going off all
Tattooed on me
these.
now.
Once they start going off all the crazy conspiracy theories, instantly their argument loses credibility. Like, it's
But if you don't listen to their
Does it
argument,
though?
they can say though, he didn't even listen to me argue.
I know.
Or he
It's
made fun
difficult.
of me
Do we listen to them? Do
I
we
feel
not?
for
That's the.
I think we
Just
listen to
don't
them
listen
and
to
we'd be like,
me.
We can't. We can't get
We
rid
get
of
a
them,
slide
right?
for that. Don't listen to Reese.
Don't listen
No,
to
but-
Reese.
We can't get rid of them, and we have to live with them. You know what I mean? Like, we got to live with them, and we got friends. Like Reese says, you got people at work. I've got people at work. We all do that don't believe in one way or another, and we got to work together, and we got to live together. So it's about how do we
Right.
navigate those little areas, you know?
Just
I don't know.
accept people for what they are. It's as simple as that. Doesn't need to divide us or fucking turn us against one another. We're still all people. Everyone's always going to have different opinions or beliefs. So long as they're not being a bad person, fucking who gives a fuck?
Listen to fucking Gandhi
Honestly.
here. And 1 minute
I
he's
am.
saying, "Don't listen to me."
Don't
Next
listen
minute,
to me.
fucking
Like,
Gandhi
don't
comes
listen
out.
to
We're
me.
all people,
Just
but
don't.
but you shouldn't
Don't
be
listen
listened to, and neither should I.
In my opinion.
Like and subscribe.
Nah, I don't know, man. It's
Look,
just,
all power. They
it's
did
a
some
strange
stupid shit.
world we live in
you know?
now. It's weird. I don't like it.
It is weird. It's always been weird, Reese. And
I mean,
actually,
yeah.
when we get into the Ukraine stuff, I've got some little history blips that I think we can just fly through to understand that country. And then I think we'll look at where we are now and be like, you know what? Shit's not so bad. You know what I mean? Like, the world's getting better. We're in a weird little situation at the moment. Definitely getting better. 100% by every metric getting better, except for maybe like the climate. And stuff
Maybe
like
it's just
that.
because I suffer massively from depression that I don't see it. But, you know, whatever.
If you had depression during World War One, you'd probably be much more upset, or conscripted and dead, and not depressed anymore. Maybe, but you know what I mean. I'm the same. Like, maybe we're
that like a
depressed
win?
because, you know, we might be depressed because we have a lack of, like. Maybe back then you didn't have the time to get depressed because we're like, all right, tin hat on, get the fuck on the boat. And you're like, what the fuck are you talking? You know, you didn't have the time. You had
Not-
to go.
not tin foil
Whereas
hat.
now, a real tin hat, okay? Whereas now, like, we don't have stuff like, we're not lighting a fire every night and catching the fish and fucking building stuff, you know, to a certain degree. Now maybe we are, you know, but we're not getting those little endorphin bumps and those little empty spaces in us, like fucking feeling part of a community or part of, or whatever it is.
The
Sometimes
pressure
it's
of
even
life
just
as
chemical.
well has increased.
Yeah,
Like,
it's all shit.
you know, I mean, look at affordability even of housing at the moment. That's a massive pressure, and the cost of living. Those sorts of things are enough to drive people.
just the cost of...
Yeah,
Dude.
yeah. It's enough to put people in a
The house
position
market
that
now
they're
is,
just,
is depressing. Yeah.
oh yeah, yeah. But you know, and people work extremely hard, and where they thought maybe 3 years ago that they were on the right track and they would probably be able to afford their house and do those things. You know,
Not the case.
the way things have gone in that aspect puts a lot of pressure on people. So yeah, it's a hard time, but
Bro.
I agree with Dave. I think we're in a lot of ways we're much better
But
off
that is the way
living
we're
in
not.
the way we are. Yeah.
And that's a big way. That's a big thing. That's your home. However, there's only been so much point in history where people were able to live in homes. Like, I think before the likes of the 1800s or whatever, or 1850s, I don't think it was normal for people to just live in houses. That's what they call it, the nuclear family, isn't it? Everyone has their house and their picket fence and their dog and all that shit. I don't think before then it was very easy for everyone to have that type of a life. I think we were able to, post World War I, II, build this type of society for ourselves.
Well, that was the industrial age, and that's where it all started to. Yeah, that was that era.
But you had people back then against it too, the Luddites. When machines start coming into things, these people called the Luddites would come along into factories and bash machines and destroy them because these machines took 10 dudes' works. You think of what a strip-it machine has done for people who would drill, or you know what I mean? Like it's unbelievable.
Automation.
Yeah, we've got to. It's hard to move. Automation's going to be our one, particularly with truck drivers and the transport industry and
It's already happening in WA
automation's
with
everywhere.
trains. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
in manufacturing in Australia, in my job now, we try and do it because it's safer. You know what I mean? You don't have to worry about anyone getting hurt doing these things.
You don't have to pay
It's
people.
cheaper. Well, but you are
And that's
maintaining a
when-
machine. Yeah.
The basic income thing will come into it.
UBI.
Yeah.
That's why I want to get one of these UBI. I know a couple of people that used to be on the campaign trail with Andrew Yang in America, and they're you know, so they know all about UBI, and they're big about that now, and they're the same thing you guys are saying. It's fucking coming. So, and I think as well, people would be less depressed as well, because you would be a
Time,
streamer.
you got freedom.
Yeah, you could be a streamer. You know,
You can be creative.
anything. Yeah, and you have price, you have worth. That's your value. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Everyone has value for what they do. And then if you want to have another thing on top of that, that's fucking awesome.
good.
But the jobs aren't going to be there. You know, there will be some jobs where we're going to have to work. You know what I mean? In some way. And I think to be happy, you'll want to do something. Like, I'm never happy if I do nothing in a day. Do you ever have one of those depressing days where for some reason just everything's gone by, you feel like you've got nothing done and you've got zero energy and all?
Feels
like, no one
unfulfilling,
wants
yeah.
to do that. No one wants
And then
that.
and then
People
you're
wanna-
like, I need some serotonin, so you have a wank, and you feel even worse. But imagine how good you're gonna feel when you're having a wank, knowing you're getting paid. Hey,
and you can
tell me I'm wrong.
Yeah.
You
know
get that
what?
cum regret, and you feel like a piece of
fucking,
shit.
He said it.
Maybe you shouldn't wank though. The post ejaculate depression is a
Yeah,
fucking
yeah,
real
that's
thing,
right.
gentlemen.
Post nut
That's
clarity
cum
will
regret.
kick in, and you'll fucking.
Yeah.
Oh,
Post
man.
nut clarity.
Oh my god, I better get
Hey,
out
but
of
oi,
this
imagine the
fucking
clarity
phone booth.
knowing that
Yeah.
you just busted a fucking whatever an hour nut.
Yeah.
As he said,
Hey.
don't listen to Reese.
An hour, Reese. An hour.
No,
I just noticed that Dave's wearing the new merchandise.
he's wearing the shirt. Yeah.
He is the Fireside Yarns
Fire
shirt.
FSY till I
Straight
die.
fire.
I like how we say FSY, but that's not the initials. It's just FY, isn't it?
It's FY.
It's actually just FYI. It's FY.
yeah.
Actually, Dave.
Anyway,
No, it's actually because the Fireside Yarns will get in you.
Oh, we should chapter the shit out of this episode, by the way. And the first one will be nurses, then it'll be convoy. Hey, we're gonna do well. Now we're a little bit into depression. Sorry, everybody. I'm
Then it'll
giving
be
you
paid masturbation.
yeah, paid masturbation. Good or bad?
Cum regret.
Answer immediately. Good.
Post nut clarity.
And then we'll end with Ukraine. I think we'll end with Ukraine.
At least there'll be no celebrity rapists in this episode.
oh
Hold on.
It's early days.
yeah,
We're
Could
talking
be.
about. I want to get into the fucking beginnings.
So
of the Soviet
actually,
Union.
Reese brought it up.
Mega rape.
What was it? Fuck.
Yeah, boy.
Guess whose court
Not funny,
case
people.
was settled? His rape charge.
Jared Hayne. That's right. Well,
Oh, really?
Well,
I haven't. See, I don't watch.
Didn't
I
they?
don't know any
Didn't
of
they
this shit.
squash his? Because what happened though? He had one trial and there was a hung jury. And then he
Hang
had
on, who were
another
you talking
trial.
about? Sorry.
Jared
You say
Hayne.
Jared Haynes hung.
Oh yeah, him as well. I was talking about Prince. Forget his fucking
Andrew.
name. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, they're all getting off, are they? Oh no, did he take a plea deal? Didn't he? Didn't
No.
he pay out?
It was
Well, I
a
mean,
civil.
he
It was a
probably got
civil
off.
trial.
Oh,
Civil
okay, so
trial,
he paid out.
Paid out. Yeah.
Why did he do it already? He must spend a lot of money.
Yeah, I don't know, but
Do you remember
yes.
his excuse? Do you remember his excuse? Because she was like, I remember that night he was sweating everywhere. And he said, actually, that's impossible because I can't sweat. And they're like, what? And he's like, yeah, it's because I have PTSD from the war in the Falklands. I love that. Like, well, who says that? Like, oh,
What a
fuck the
fuckwit.
Royals. Get rid of them. Aussie Republic, everybody. This is the family. This is the family we want in charge. We want their little babies to be our leaders. It's ridiculous.
Nope.
But anyway.
Yeah, so Jared Haynes as well.
Yeah, Jared Haynes. So he's at home. Not under house arrest, but he's got certain restrictions of areas he's
Yeah.
not allowed to go and things he's not allowed
Why isn't
to
the
do.
cunt in jail?
He won
They're
the
gonna
appeal.
retry him.
He was, yeah. He won the appeal.
Yeah, he won the appeal because something wasn't disregarded in the testimony of the victim. I think they shouted across the court at them, and there was all this other crap. But anyway, it's going to be a retrial. So We'll be
He's
here.
not off.
That'll be the discourse for a while.
But before we get into
I don't even
Ukraine as
know.
well,
Yeah.
we had
Go on.
UFC the other day, and was it 3 Aussies in it? 3 Aussies.
Yeah,
You had
Toitu
Ben,
Vasa, he knocked out
Bam,
Derek
yeah.
Lewis.
you had Rob
Who else is in it?
Whittaker.
Robert Whittaker lost to Israel Adesanya.
Yeah,
And who's the third?
he was
Aussie?
in the undercard, wasn't he? I can't even remember. I didn't even know he was fighting, but yeah.
Yeah, look,
I'll find out
Toitu
for you.
Vasa, man, he's a indigenous Samoan dude. He used to play for the Roosters, like Jersey flag team, and he's the one you see drinking from the shoe on the cages. Man, he's such a character. Like, he does shoeies. Do you know what a shoey is, Reese?
Come on, man.
It's like I am the shoey. But after every time he wins, he does a shoey.
Are you trying to tell me to do a shoey right now? Is that what you're trying to do?
You
you
should.
won't do a shoey.
You should.
No, he won't do a shoey.
No, he won't. He won't. You're right.
He won't.
No.
He won't.
The old
He'll
race
have
would
the
have,
shoe.
but this one's changed.
Oi, whoever
The old man.
misses an episode of Fireside Yarns has to do a shoey.
That's the rule from
Starting
now on.
last episode.
I don't even have
Do
a
it.
shoe in here.
We'll let you go and grab one.
Do a socky. Strain it.
Vinno's not here to help me.
Oh.
Don't bring that up.
You're not getting any fluids through my socks.
Oh.
Well, you definitely
But-
won't get
Alright, we're
anything
not
through
doing
my
it.
sock.
You're not
The
doing a
old,
shoey then?
the old bird bar. Sorry?
You're not going to do a shoey for the Firesiders out there that missed you last week, Reese. Fair enough.
I reckon he should do it at the
Well, no,
halftime.
but I will let you. Actually, you know what? Maybe I will. But I'll let you in on a fun fact. On my 30th birthday in a public venue, I drank beer out of Vinno's nutsack. Cue awkward silence.
We were fucking wild then.
So everybody, there's this big crisis that's going on between Russia and the Ukraine. Actually, no.
There's-
What happened, Vinno? Did you hold it out like that?
Yeah.
The sack,
Yeah,
so that
proper-
it kind
proper
of
bird
funneled.
bath.
So you funnel. Oh no, wait, hold up.
Yeah,
So you
I
didn't
was like,
do like a. It didn't funnel in. You, like
He didn't do
like
that.
a. Okay.
you know how cats turn their tongue upside down or not? Yeah.
And here, so now hold up. I don't get this. All right. So is Vinno making the bird fucking bath with two hands? Because
Yeah.
how's he holding the shaft? Where's the shaft? I'm assuming it's not lying on your face.
It is.
Okay, no, it's lying on your face.
It's just
Good
getting even
chance.
more wild.
I think
Wait,
there's a.
oh,
I think. I
is
think
it
there's a
lying
video.
up?
Do you?
Like-
Do you not have the video? Maybe I have the video. The
Why
video
would
somewhere.
I have the fucking video?
Why wouldn't you?
And cue the
It's
video.
an epic time of your life. No, because the last time you said that, no one put it in. You're a fucking liar. I called
what
you
she
out
said.
on it too.
We're going further and
Lads,
further
lads,
downhill.
lads.
Fuck.
No, no. Just quietly, there was a section where you're like, I met him.
It was
Cue
a photo.
photo.
It was a photo.
Boom. No photo.
I know.
And then you talked
Missed
about the
every
photo, so now nobody has any idea
That's the
about the
RA,
size of
rugged
your
man.
arm against RA Rugged Man.
All
You
right,
should
we'll
see
put it at the end of this
In
one.
fact, that photo
Actually,
is
no,
here,
no.
Right
Maybe you should
now.
put it in now.
It won't be.
Remember the timestamp, you know, because now. No. This here is Dave and RA.
Wow, Would you look at that picture? What a beautiful picture.
Beautiful.
We're just going to talk
It's
about
weird
the
because
picture for
I'm
the
not
next 2
looking
minutes.
at it right now. But yeah. But you are
Anyway,
in Fireside Land.
FY land.
the Ukraine crisis.
Are we getting
think-
into it now?
I
Are we doing? You know what? Reese, could you call in a Scotch of the Week for us, please?
Oh, I can probably do that for you. So, Vinno, how is your Scotch of the Week? I'm very interested because this is my first time experiencing a Scotch of the Week.
All
So,
right, well.
if you could play
Well,
that
hold up.
funky music, white boy.
All right, so this week's Scotch of the Week is a blended Scotch whiskey. We've got Teachers. Hold that up there for you.
What are you teaching?
Teaching you how to drink, boy.
Learn a lesson from that, boys.
Teachers Highland Cream, high in peated malt. So this is the one.
You've had some Highland Cream in your time. Hey?
Yeah, that's what she said.
Who's
No,
Pete?
it doesn't work
Who's
there,
Pete?
does it? No. Who is Pete? That's the question.
It's peated, isn't it?
Peated malt. Yeah.
You
Actually,
wouldn't want it
I'd-
to be Davided. That's for sure. Oh, this is David. Don't drink it.
This is David. David.
This is David.
But yeah, this I like. Another one I've had before. It's fucking really nice and smooth actually. And they say it's creamy. It's creamy.
Smooth and creamy. Like that Greek yogurt we had that Reese
oh.
was absolutely scared of. Yeah.
Then he ended up sick out of it.
How do you
Of course.
compare to what was last week's one? Monkey.
The monkeys. So I actually, I like, I actually like Teachers better. It's only the second time I've had it. As I said, Rin brings just some random ones back from the bottle around the corner, and she came home with that the other week, and yeah, it was fucking nice, really nice. So I thought,
she enables your alcoholic behaviours.
No, I ask.
He's like, what do I say? What do I say that doesn't make it stop? Yeah.
I ask her to grab me something. So anyway,
Imagine if you had a fireplace in your house.
there's gonna be one eventually. Good too.
Wait, hold up, Vinno. You didn't just threaten to burn your house down, did you? Oh, it'll all be a fireplace soon.
Anyway,
Whole house will be
Teachers Highland Cream, Scotch of the Week, episode 3. Cue the music.
Hit the music!
You're a fuckwit.
I am a fuckwit, eh? Don't listen to me. No. Yeah, so Scotch of the Week done and dusted. More tins on deck, ready to rock and roll, and I guess get a little bit serious. It's probably
It's serious
wrong
black.
of me. Oh, he's dead.
He is dead.
He got
Seriously
smoked,
dead.
that motherfucker.
Seriously.
Yeah.
I like
It's not
serious.
like Harry's dad and mum, though, right? Just joking.
It's my
Just joking.
boy.
At least he's not making Kobe jokes this week. So.
Well, at least he's
Should've went
joking
with
about
Snape.
like the death of,
Fictional
fictional characters.
But yeah,
I fucking love Jay Silent Bob, man. Just fuck. Fictional character.
I did. That latest one was a
anywho.
bit cringy, though. The latest
Hey?
Jay and Silent Bob.
Yeah, oh yeah, it was. And what's going on with Jason Muse's teeth, bro?
Well, he's a recovering addict.
He looks
Yeah.
like the richest junkie in the fucking world. He's like got a
He
full
might
set
be.
of veneers, but he looks cracked out like a meth head.
Yeah. I used to watch their podcast. Like, Kev Smith used to have heaps of podcasts on his. He used to have a podcast channel called Smodcast, and there was the Smodcast. There was Fat Man on Batman, and then there was one with Jason Mewes about getting back on his feet and stuff. But yeah, he had a fucking bad couple of years. But yeah, Kevin never gave up on him, so that's why he's still in all the movies and shit. And I think he's got his own YouTube channel. I think he streams and has gaming contact now. I can't remember what it's called. But yeah, so
Yeah,
he's
no, it
still
was
doing
just
stuff, but
mind-blowing
he-
how
it's
different he
bad,
looked, eh?
Yeah, because he was like a kid in fucking what was it, Chasing Amy and fucking Mall Rats and Clerks 1.
Dogma and
Dogma, man. That's one of the best fucking movies ever, man. I love
yeah, fuck yeah.
But yeah, you were talking about serious issues, not Sirius Black of Harry
Yeah,
Potter fame.
how do we go from serious to that?
Not bad,
Like,
not bad. But like, let's stop talking.
I mean, his
about...
smile is seriously disturbing, but
Not anymore.
no.
Oh, don't say it, Dave. Now,
Oh,
it's moving on. I know
Say
I
it,
had a
Dave.
bad one.
Say
I had a
Dave.
bad
Say Dave.
joke in
Say
the
Dave.
chamber
Say
then,
Dave.
and I
Say
just
Dave.
put the cock back.
pull the
That's what she
trigger, bitch.
I forgot it now anyway. The Ukraine.
Liar.
It's not the I crane. It's not the them crane. So start thinking about it like it's the Ukraine. And that's all I have. Now look, here's something. We think about Ukraine. What is it? It's just some border state or whatever. It actually translates as borderland. So it is. So funnily enough, it's always been a place that's been kind of like Afghanistan, where they pulled from each other. But
Well, look,
it's a country right now of 45 million people. It's the second biggest country in Europe.
Landmass.
By mass.
Yeah. Third biggest
Yeah, well,
military in Europe. So there's
Allegedly.
Russia, France, Ukraine. So, but at the same time, a developing country. And
Yeah.
anyway, I'll let you start, Dave, because
45
you're going
million
all the way.
people.
Well,
It's still
I'm
developing.
gonna hit the time. Sorry, what was that, Reese?
45 million people, but still developing. That's pretty wild.
So they got a
Well,
lot of
it's-
issues. It's got a lot of history there, man.
It's
Yeah,
a lot
like-
of leadership issues, but if you think about this, we're only 25 million, so they're nearly double our fucking population. But like, if you go back just to their modern history, like, so it's 1914, First World Wars broke out. Ukrainian lands are split between the Austro-Hungarian and then the Russian empires. So Ukrainian soldiers fought on both sides of that conflict, and 4.5 million Ukrainians fought for the Russians, and about 250,000 fought for the Austro-Hungarian armies. After World War I, Ukraine was defeated and divided, with the Soviets controlling most of the country. You go down to 1922. Now Ukraine, along with Russia, actually became a founding. They're some of the founding members of the USSR, which is the Union of the Soviet Socialist Republics. So they're a founding member of the USSR, which of course were 15 republics. Do we want to know the republics, everybody?
Yes.
Go
Armenia,
ahead.
Azerbaijan, Belarus, Estonia, Georgia, Kazakhstan, Kyrgyzstan, Latvia, Lithuania, Moldova. Oh, that sounds amazing. Russia, obviously. Tajikistan, Turkmenistan, Ukraine, and Uzbekistan. These were all the Soviet Union, or the Union of Soviet Socialist Republics, Ukraine of which was one of the founding members. However, it was not all glorious. In 1932, which was just 10 years after they joined the Soviet Union, they had a famine. We're up to, get this, guys, 10 million people starved to death in Ukraine. 10 million. That would be near half of our population just gone. And the whole thing was said to have been just basically made worse and exacerbated by the policies of the new Communist Party leader, Joseph Stalin. Now we're talking about famous rapists. But yeah, do we have anything to about that period before I get into the Great Purge?
Oh no, I think it's starting to lead, because you went back a lot further and paints a bit of history,
yeah.
like ex-Soviet Union, and then
Well,
that era around World War II as well, from the 20s, the 30s. A lot of people focus when they think of that era on Hitler and Nazi Germany
are
and
cut
those
out
sorts
for me.
of
Yeah, me too.
characters.
he's
I think you're frozen there.
cut out for me.
Yep.
Did it all cut out?
Vinno, you're like this.
You're both frozen for me.
What do we do?
I don't know.
Oh wait, I can hear him. Is he coming
No.
back?
There we are.
He's back now. He's back now.
Yeah, yeah.
Hey,
Sorry,
he's
Vinno,
back.
what were you
Welcome,
saying?
welcome back,
You
Vinno.
both froze.
So
No,
so,
you
so
froze.
we're at the 1932 famine.
Yeah. So, when you think about that era, a lot of people just associate the 30s and stuff with the early rise of Hitler and forget very quickly that, the Soviet Union and Stalin were around and committing some of the worst atrocities at the time.
Well, they'd only been 1922. They they formed, and then in 10 years you've got fucking 10 million people dead in Ukraine, which is one of the countries where it's got 25% of the world's black soil, which is the best soil in the world. Like, it's one of the biggest exporters of farming goods. Like, this was a purposeful, and you'll see now. So then a couple of years later, I was talking about the Great Purge, and this was 2 waves of political oppression and persecution, resulting in the killing of 681,000 people, and now this included 80% of the Ukrainian cultural elite. 3/4 of all the Ukrainians Red Army high-ranking officers, so it was a true decimation. This was a cultural attack in order to leave people that were favourable to the Soviet Union and Stalin. And then World War II started. That's right, Germany.
This is
invaded
probably the
Soviet Union.
worst thing to take out of everything you just said, but isn't it a wild thought that people literally pay for dirt from another country?
Yeah, man.
Isn't
That's
that
true.
crazy?
Yeah.
Like, that's such, like,
Well, think
everything
that's
you just
kind
said,
of our
horribly
biggest
sad.
thing.
But, like, the country's biggest export is their dirt, which...
Well,
I don't know
now-
if it's their
Now their
natural
biggest
gas and stuff
export
as well.
is grain. Their
Yeah.
biggest
Oh,
export
again,
is grain and stuff.
You know what I
so-
mean? Again,
Yeah.
they're so fertile. Yeah. This
Yeah.
is the same thing on the Irish famine. Ireland was exporting mass beef and a lot of other livestock, but the majority of Irish people were living off potatoes because that was their peasants, you know. And even other countries tried, like Jordan tried to send Ireland food, but Britain were like, you can't do that. You're going to ruin exchange rates, and you're going to bring. So they made it so you could only give a certain amount of charity to Ireland, and then they even made it. There's these things
Capitalism.
called
Woo!
famine walls and famine roads, which was just like they didn't want to give charity to Irish people who were starving on the fucking streets. So they said, okay, well, you have to make them work, otherwise they'll think they can't work for food. So they just made, there's all these roads in Ireland now that just go to nowhere, and walls that just around the countryside that just go. It's fucking sad as fuck. But again, we had our population decimated. They came to America, they ran away. You know, that's what you do. And these people
They were
died,
sent to Australia
got
as
the fuck
convicts.
out of there. But yeah, that was a little bit after, but
It
it's
was,
the same
yeah,
shit.
yeah.
It's
But it was a fallback from it all.
and been fleeing and then been sent. But yeah, Germany then invaded the Soviet Union. So we're in World War II now, and Germany invaded the Soviet Union, and it was 4 fucking straight years of total war around Ukraine as a battleground. And the Battle of Kiev in particular, where Axis troops, so America and the UK, surrounded and laid siege to Ukraine's capital, Kiev. And that was more than 600,000 soldiers were killed or taken captive. All up though, in the war, World War II, 5 to 8 million Ukrainians died from the war, and obviously this has nothing to do with the famine. This is after. And that includes 500,000 Jews that the Nazis got, and it lost 40% of its natural wealth, all because of that war.
Yep.
Yeah.
Isn't it fucking insane? Like,
That's just one country that this war has. Everyone took fucking lumps after the First and Second World War, and just.
But you're still seeing fallback from the war, and it's a lot. You see it a lot in Eastern Europe with the poverty, and you know, Reece, you brought up about it. Well, you question it being a developing country with that many people, but it hasn't had a chance to come back properly. You know, it wasn't given the support, and then following that, still being a part of the Soviet Union until its collapse. And you know, that's still a pretty rough era throughout
I
that
feel
whole
like there's
Cold War era.
There's probably a lot of Europe that are like in that same sort of situation, I guess, really after, because like you think about both world wars, like Europe has been the main area
battleground.
of battleground. Like,
Yeah.
it's,
North
do you know what I
Africa
mean? Like,
got a lot, like as
Yeah,
and
It saw a lot.
Turkey as well, as we know, as the Aussies. World War
Yeah.
One. But like,
But-
yeah, like and in India and all as well. But uniquely, the battles we know about, and when we hear about Dresden and Kiev and all these places that got flattened, pretty
Well,
fucking.
it's
well, I mean, like,
It's common
like
to
Russia
common
and
to
stuff
learn
was
about the western and eastern fronts. You know, from the
yeah.
Western's perspective, in both wars, and not so much. You know, we learn a lot about Pacific and stuff, and North Africa, because you know the Rats of Tobruk and all those sorts of cultural stories. But yeah, some of the things that were happening at the same time in Eastern Europe and those areas, and the lack of support that they had after those wars, they've just never been able to recover to the full extent.
Well,
So geographically, just so I get this right, so Ukraine's kind of like southwestern side of Russia, right?
yeah, it's
Yeah.
beside. It's directly. So if you were to imagine, you know where Moscow is. It's close to the cultural hub of, you know, the Russian elite. You know.
Yeah.
It's on the border there. Yeah.
Yeah.
But let's quickly, straight after World War II, Stalin went to Crimea and he forcibly deported the Crimean Peninsula's entire indigenous population of ethnic Tatars to Central Asia. So Crimea is like, if you think this is Ukraine, Crimea is like a fucking ball sack hanging off Ukraine.
It's
and
like
a
the
complete
Tasmania
peninsula.
of
If
fucking.
Tasmania
Yeah, right, okay.
had a little land, like a land bridge,
Yep.
that's what it would be like.
Mm.
And but what he did was he went in there, he got rid of the ethnic Tatars, and he basically started populating Crimea with more and more ethnically Russian people. And after but look, skipping forward ahead, after the fall of the Soviet Union, a lot of Tatars returned. However, today I think there's still let me just double check. They're only
It's a Russian
12%
state.
of
It was
Crimeans.
annexed by by Russia again. Yeah.
That was 2014.
Yep. So
But we skip a bit forward after World War II. In 1954, Stalin's dead. His successor is Khrushchev, and he transferred the Crimean Peninsula, which actually used to belong to Russia, not Ukraine. He transferred that to Ukraine, which obviously it shares a land border with Ukraine, so it kind of makes sense. However, a lot of people feel like Khrushchev was his ties to Ukraine might have played a big part in that move. But yeah, but obviously Ukraine's devastated still. It's post World War II, but by 1955 they were able to bounce back and become a European leader again. Basically, the Ukraine in industrial production was an important hub for Soviet arms and high-tech research industry. And at this time, Ukraine was actually producing many of the Soviet Union's prominent sports athletes and scientists and even artists. And in fact, Ukrainians also had the largest part of the leadership of the Soviet Union. So Ukrainian Leonid Brezhnev became the leader of the Soviet Union after ousting the former leader Khrushchev. And the full title of the leader is the General Secretary of the Communist Party of the Soviet Union. It's the most powerful position in the USSR. But he was the leader for 18 years, 1964 to 1982. And that was only ever beaten by Stalin, who was leader for 30 years, from 1922 to 1952. But yeah, not incredible.
Yeah, man.
So
However,
then,
yeah.
here we go.
Go
No,
on,
he's
you
a
know,
bit.
you
No,
got
no,
something?
no.
Have you got something?
No, no. I was getting into you're about to get into post Soviet Union, USSR, were you?
Well, no, because we got a little bit still of the Soviet Union. If you say, let's skip to 1986, all right? Ukraine is a vital part
What a
of the
year,
Soviet Union.
by the way. What a year.
What a year, yeah.
Amazing.
We're getting to the great years, though.
That's the greatest year.
Yeah. The vital part of the Soviet coming out of that period.
You're not even going to ask why?
1986. Oh, we know who was born. We know who was born in. That's what you're alluding to, isn't it? Were you born in 86? No, 85 you were born in. Oh, was it 84? When were you born, Reese?
86. But I'll say...
I knew
that's
it,
the
I
year-
knew it.
Mate, 86 is the year of the VL, mate. The greatest Aussie in the world.
Fuck.
Let's fucking... You know? Let's be serious for a minute.
So anyway,
Don't
let's
listen
get
to
serious.
So we just had to inject
However-
some Aussie bogan in there for that
Yeah,
part.
of course.
It's like, so that's very interesting about Ukraine, Dave. Did you also know that in 1986?
Isn't it funny that the two best things to come out of Australia start with V?
VB and a VL.
In the VL.
The Veronicas. All right.
Cheers. Wait, let's cheers to Dave.
Oh,
You know what? We haven't done one of them in a while.
Yeah, we haven't had one of them.
You like this, Reese? This is actually a fun part of the history. In 1986,
Okay, I'll be
alright, they would be struck by a horrible disaster when a reactor in the Vladimir Lenin nuclear power plant exploded in a town called Chernobyl. So that also happened in
fun
Ukraine.
part, right?
Yeah, like now
Nuclear
obviously
fallout,
after,
all the rest.
Yeah.
well after that happened, this dispel like especially if you have you watched Chernobyl?
No, I haven't. I've been told to.
Well, a lot of the issues that happened in Chernobyl was the lack of the Soviet Union wanting to call out for help. You know what I mean? They didn't want to ask for help. So, and they was just getting worse and worse and worse. And I think a lot of people found out, okay, so the Soviet Union is a bit, you know what I mean? It's too political. And it was, you know, failing in the world now, and people getting pissed off about that. Ultimately, in the following years, after a series of disagreements between the Soviet republics, the USSR began to break apart under what was called the War of the Laws, which is just the conflicts between the Soviet federal government, its republics, who all wanted more autonomy from each other and from the federal leadership. And Ukraine officially left the Union and declared independence in 1991. 91! We skipped
Also
by a couple of
another
years
great
back there. Actually, in 1988, just over across in mainland Europe, a star was born named Dava. But that's for a different episode.
How could you not see that coming? Fuck me.
Well,
Look,
I mean, there's been 2 great things born in years mentioned in this episode.
That's right. What are you, Vinno? Are you 89?
89.
Yeah, I'm an 89. There we go. There's 3 good years. This could spit all your fucking light. Spit all your light.
Anyway.
Get the fuck out.
Let's speed this up so we can get to just away from the history. Because I want to just get this done. All right.
Yeah,
so
I'm actually good because I still don't know what the crisis is.
That's where he's getting
we're
to.
getting there.
hanging on
We're
here.
getting
I'm
there.
hanging on here.
So they left the USSR, easy. So Ukraine's now officially an independent country. Now, because of this, they went through a rough period as their economy immediately sank to depression. They lost 60% of their GDP. And their economy does end up stabilising again towards the end of the 90s. However, in 2004, corruption allegations and rigged elections plagued Ukraine's prime ministerial and presidential appointments. The country becomes completely politically divided, nearly down the centre if you were to look at a map. The eastern side of Ukraine would be, and the southern part, Crimea, were ethnically Russian or wanted to stay with Russia, and then obviously the west wants to go with Europe, NATO.
Is this like a North and South Korea thing going on?
Think of it as East
no,
and
because
West
they're
Germany.
not divided yet. North and South Korea.
Yeah.
Exactly, more like that because they're separate. They're separate states.
Yeah.
Or they're not separate states, actually. So it's not even like that. It will be like one country who is divided. It'd be like America and Republicans and Democrats, but if Republicans and Democrats represented a direction towards which way you wanted your culture to go. Yeah.
Right.
So, but anyway, because
Now, Ukraine's
go on.
under Russian protection at this stage because after the Soviet Union folded, a deal was made or a pact was signed, treaty was signed, and Ukraine falls under Russia's protection, or it's agreed that they'll basically be allies. Yeah. But because of the struggles that they're having, they can't they're requesting, or they, if they were to fall into a conflict, Russia would come to their aid.
Yeah.
So,
What was their end of that deal?
I'm not entirely sure, but
autonomy or Russia would come in. So I think the idea is that if you try to leave us, go to NATO or join Europe, we will annex you like we did Crimea, because they believe that, as we went through, they believe that that Ukraine is part of the ethos of and closer to Russia. Like I think Vladimir Putin called them like brother nations.
yeah.
Yeah, right.
His fear is a lot that NATO is pushing further and further onto their borders, and that's what his fear is with that. There is other things at play there, but
It would be the same with America. If Russia,
Absolutely.
if Mexico joined the Soviet Union, it would be uproar. I mean, look at the Cuban Missile Crisis. That's what it was about.
Yep.
Russians put nukes in Cuba because they wanted to give Cuba protection, basically. So there was a standoff of, you know, and America to this day still has sanctions that are still in place because of that. That's why you see Cubans driving around in 1950s cars, everything that was before they blockaded them. But that's what happens. All these poor nations turn into buffer states, turn into border communities, when really, you know, all these, I'd love for them just to be allowed autonomy. I think they should, if they want to join the European Union, they should be able to join it. If they want to join NATO, they should be able to join it. If they want to rejoin back into the Federation, become a Federation state,
I mean,
just like Crimea would have voted for.
Yeah. And like we'll get into once you've finished the history side, but, you know, they haven't got a chance of joining NATO at the moment for several other reasons. If they wanted to, there is all 30 nations that are in the NATO alliance has to be like a
being full
of unanimous decision for yes. And
but if America wanted to, they could get every single nation in NATO. America runs NATO; they're the biggest funder in NATO. They could get them.
Yeah, they could, but there's a lot of countries that don't want them in there due to.
They're scared Russia's
laws.
gonna fucking.
Well, yeah, and there's other things that, you know, the corruption that's in Ukraine and all those sorts of things as well. Don't do it. They don't think that they fit the mold. Sorry.
It's the same with Turkey. Turkey wanted to join the EU as well, but they have the death penalty.
Yeah.
There's certain things. So it'll come into it now a little bit. So yeah, they're completely divided. So then in 2009, Russia stopped supplying natural gas to Ukraine in the middle of winter, which obviously, because Russia's a little bit upset that the current administrations are moving a little bit closer to Europe. So they cut off and caused a natural gas crisis in the country. And after major economic losses, the country was forced to sign an energy deal with Russia and its president Vladimir Putin. And this began a political upheaval, and it allowed former President and Prime Minister Viktor Yanukovych able to gain power again in 2010, using the fallout of that gas deal to rally his supporters. You know, after a year, he has his former political opponents sent to prison for signing the natural gas deal with Russia and Putin. Then in 2012, Yanukovych meets with the European Union and Ukraine, begin negotiations for to join the 28-nation group. That's mad. So this is 2012 we're only at now.
Yep.
Now, while President Yanukovych is urging Ukraine's parliament to adopt the new laws that will bring them in compliance with the EU and its criteria, this starts a fucking trade war with Russia, because obviously they don't want Ukraine to be part of the EU. Now, Yanukovych, now feeling the pressure from Russia, is like, and seeing the economic decline of the country, suspended signing with the EU and signing the deal, and then signed a deal with Putin and Russia that basically agreed to steer the country and its future more aligned with Russia, that compared to Europe and the West. And this ended up sparking the Euromaidan protests in 2013, which mainly took place in Kiev's Independence Square. They wanted Yanukovych out and the reversal of the Russian deal, and to redirect the country towards Europe and away from Russia. The protests had ended up getting violent. I think a dozen protesters were killed. And the very next day, Yanukovych fled the city and the protesters had won. They installed a temporary government to prepare for new elections. And again, like Vinno was saying, even these temporary governments that were backed by Western powers like America, still very, very, very hairy. Obviously, Russia wasn't happy with this and didn't think that this new government was legitimate. So then in 2014, he it is said that he convened in an all-night meeting with his security chiefs to discuss the extradited and deposed Ukrainian President Viktor Yanukovych. And at the end of the meeting, Russian President Vladimir Putin remarked that we must start working on returning Crimea to Russia.
Wait,
Thank you.
just how long has Putin been president?
I'm going to look that up because he's been president, then he's been prime minister, then he was president again, then prime minister.
It's a long fucking time.
Yeah.
It's a long time.
Like, I know there's
Since
a
the
lot
90s,
of
it
memes
has to
about
be.
the dude, but like,
1999 to 2008, he was the president, and then he's the president again in 2012 to the present. But the guy who was the president between him is Dmitry Medvedev, who is in his party as well. However, when Putin had to step down because he did his 8 years as president or whatever it was, he just became the prime minister instead.
Yeah.
Yes,
Wow.
Putin.
Laughs in Russian.
Laughs in Russian.
Ha ha ha. All right. So
Dmitry,
get the
beers and the vodka.
So Putin said we must start working on returning Crimea to Russia, and everyone's obviously going, yeah. So then, pro-Russian demonstrations were held in Crimea in the city of Sevastopol, and on the 27th of February of 2014, masked Russian troops without insignias took over the Supreme Council. Hold on, wait a second here. Or the Parliament of Crimea, and captured strategic sites around Crimea, which led to the installation of a pro-Russian Sergei Azhnikov government in Crimea. Russia formally incorporates
hang
Crimea,
on.
so this
Was
is like
that-
Tasmania.
Was that masked right-wing extremists? Or masked Russian extremists? Similar
They're
to
Russian troops
similar to
without
the
insignia.
January 6th insurrection? Is that what we're...
No, these were state-funded,
Yeah. I'm
whereas those guys were
I'm
hillbillies.
simply making a point that people, Western societies and especially America, sort of look at Russia as, you know, we're nothing like them. There's a lot of similarities there in a way. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off,
you can
Dave.
say
Get
that.
back into your zone.
No, I just not because I'm trying not to argue it. I'm like,
Argue with
this
me.
this would be like
Yeah, please.
the American government. It would be completely opposite. It would be like the Ukrainians trying to take over Russia, like a band of Ukrainians trying to take over Russia. Would
Small
be it.
country, easy done.
Yeah, because the people that took over fucking Crimea
Look at his
were
face right
actual
now. Argue with
were
this man. Come on.
actual Russian troops. The Russian army took over basically a Supreme Court.
Or am I thinking
a
about?
parliament.
Am I thinking about the separatists held? Yeah. There's a whole
This is
separatist held.
Crimea,
Yeah, yeah.
2014.
Sorry, yeah, my bad.
Is that what it is? Is that what you're talking about?
Where have you got this? Where did you
That's
get
a
those
no.
notes from?
That's a no.
What? Which notes? From probably about
Questioning.
8 different
Facebook.
places. Well, anyway,
The
comment section. So-
Reliable source.
so Russia. Okay, yeah. So Russia's very much like the band of protesters on January 26th. And in 2014, Russia formally incorporated Crimea into the Russian Federation on the 18th of March, much like the January 6th protesters incorporated the American government into their protest. Very like. Following the
overrun it.
annexation,
Tried to overrun it.
they
Argue,
wore
Dave.
insignias though.
Argue.
They wore flags. They wore.
Stop.
You know what I
being
mean?
so
It's just
reserved,
totally
Dave.
different. I can't be. It's just we got to get through the notes so I can stop looking at this shit. So yeah.
Why? What's the rush?
All right. Well, what part of that will we talk about then?
The part that you clearly disagree on.
Well, okay. I'm
simply making a point there. A lot of the talk around this whole Ukraine situation has been very, I'd say, hypocritical from Western countries, and I'll say more so from America in regards to the way that Russia has injected itself into Ukraine and done a lot of things is very similar in a lot of ways to the way America has operated over the years in many other countries. And it's, yeah, so
now you're talking about nations
yes,
coming into other countries.
but
Yeah.
the point I was making with the masked soldiers, I'll use your words, but the masked soldiers going in and overrunning a government and a whole state, I'll say, to sit back and say, oh, that doesn't happen here if you're in one of those countries, you know, sort of, it happened not that long ago. So might be like different in regards to it's another nation coming through.
Yeah.
If you understand what
it's
it's
different.
the point that I'm making, yeah.
So I don't. Because America is actually the stance is against what happened on January 6th, right?
I know it is. But what I'm saying is, before you point the finger, have a look inwards first. All right? Because
America has done it to lots of countries in South America and created banana republics. They you could argue they did it in Afghanistan in the 80s, particularly.
Everyone
when they
yeah.
They're proxy wars. They're fighting proxy wars. But that's again, it's nothing like January 6th.
What's January 6th?
That was the insurrection, right? In the did you not know about that at all?
I know nothing. Both of you just put your heads down.
Do you remember when all the Trump protesters at a rally, Trump was like, and we're gonna take back this country, and then a whole
build a wall.
Protesters and they just ran towards the Capitol building and tried to break into it
and stop them from counting or validating the votes after Biden won the election.
Yeah.
Okay.
And they did that with flags, with no masks on. Not really. Maybe their face covers.
They weren't legitimate flags.
This was in the cover of night, alright? This was in the cover of night. Masked Russian troops.
Okay.
They're very different to a crazed political riot that only thought of that day. Do you know what I mean? It's very much like your other example of America on how they go into... Yeah. But the America that invades other countries is the state, who is very much against the January 6th protesters.
Yes.
Are we talking about January 6th
and operate
this
differently
year?
because
we can do.
Yes. No.
But
2020. It was when they
Sorry.
The election. It was the election when Joe Biden won the election.
Yeah. When you said,
Congress
"Are we
has to
talking
count
about
the
it this
votes.
year?" I thought you meant this season. I'm like, yeah, fucking hell.
But here, the reason why I didn't want to argue about it is because I don't think it's I think it's a bog down. So that's why I was trying to move on. But you're like, no, Dave, let's fucking argue it. But anyway. But here, are you saying that you think that didn't happen? Is what I think I heard from your thing. You said, where did I get this information from?
No. So I was reading something, and I'm after hearing your, I'll say you're just railroading. There, what I no. Oh, wait, that's probably it. Railroading's wrong.
I think I railroaded you. That's all right. You got railroaded. Go
on. I was reading something not today, and I think it was in regards to the separatist held area of
Donetsk.
Yeah, Ukraine.
Yeah, there's two
and I think
small
I got
areas.
I got the two like that because I didn't. I knew Crimea got annexed, but yeah, I didn't know that it was.
But that's
Russian
how they
soldiers,
annexed
so
it.
I think
They
that's
didn't
where
just-
I've. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So I'm thinking.
But that's how they annexed it.
Yeah, I'm thinking of the separatist held.
Isn't
area,
it
so
Donetsk and Gdansk? I think it is.
I think,
or
yeah.
something like that. Yeah.
I'll have to have a look. Yeah. You think he's done the Vinno and just left? Turn the computer off.
He's just gone to bed. He's had enough. He's had a gutful.
You'll
He's
run
just
to
quit Fireside Yarns. Do you reckon we should just probably leave this in if I was talking shit about him?
Probably, yeah. Fuck him.
Maybe we should. Yeah, fuck him. Fuck you, Dave.
It's nothing
You
like
went your
January
history
6th.
lesson. I've done history since high school. Oh, he's gone now. He's proper gone.
He's gone.
All right, so apologies for the little technical. I guess it's not just me. It's not just me that suffers from internet issues. Let's just, We just need to do more in person. I'm saying it again. That's what needs to happen.
We got to do more in
But
person.
I believe where we at was Vinno and Dave were disagreeing about something. Can someone
No,
hit someone?
What
So
do you- no,
please
no, what do-
continue. No.
We didn't disagree.
What were you saying? What were you saying before I left anyway? And after, motherfuckers. What were you
Well,
saying?
you'll see what we said after later.
No,
Um,
see these cowards, everybody.
No, so you just finished talking about annexation of Crimea.
Yeah. So.
Yep.
All right.
2014.
So I think I did say that, did I? That it happened, yeah.
Yes.
And everyone
So I
else
said you just
condemned it,
finished.
all that stuff.
Yep.
Yeah. So since 2014's annexation of Crimea, the two countries have basically been in a state of war. Then it came to a bit of a turning point in 2019. Amendments were made to the constitution in Ukraine, which enshrined the irreversibility of the country's strategic course towards the EU and NATO membership. So obviously this is pissing off Vlad. And throughout 2021, Russian military build-up on the border of Ukraine has escalated tensions between the two countries and strained bilateral relationships with the United States, sending a strong message that invasion would be met with dire consequences for Russia's economy. Despite this, Russia has reportedly denied having plans to invade Ukraine. And that's kind of where we are today. We have... Yeah.
So, okay, Ukraine, Russia have got their shit, right? Can either of you please explain to me where the US even comes into this and why they get involved?
So
Their leader in NATO.
Ukrainian prime or president, their new president, who was a comedian, by the way, just a fun fact, who played a president on TV and then became the president.
Sounds like Donald
Started. Maybe they tried that.
Martin
but
Sheen.
they started.
Martin Sheen was in the West Wing. They ran a poll and he would have beat Bill Clinton and George Bush in the
election.
presidential elections.
Yeah,
and he
right.
was a fake president on TV.
There you go.
So maybe America and Ukraine are quite alike, Vinno.
He's not going to give it up, is he? He's just.
No, he's not.
It got under his skin. Look at his face.
Well, I just hate when people are wrong. I hate it. I just hate it. Silly me. You know. That's what's wrong with me.
There's plenty wrong with
I
you.
don't appreciate the wrongness. But like I was talking about with the Freedom Convoy, Vinno, I still respect you as a person regardless of your views. I do. You're a human. Someone loves you.
You ended up
God
agreeing
bless
with
you.
me,
it's
though.
all
You
about
ended up
love.
agreeing.
It's
So
all
I'll say
love.
this
No, I didn't. I took
before
I
the
bridged-
before
I
the
gave
camera
you an
started
olive
rolling.
example,
No,
your
before the
second
camera started
example.
rolling, after your technical difficulty, you were like, "Yeah, look, I know what you're saying. You just won't do it.
No,
You just won't
I
do it.
bridged
on
the
camera."
gap. I'm trying to explain to you right now what I was doing. So I bridged the gap and said, actually, your second example was good. Remember I gave you your second example?
You did actually. You said that's better.
Yeah, that's better because that would be the American state.
It's not the
going
conversation
in under
we just
proxy.
had. Not the conversation we just had. But anyway,
But
I agree
still,
that you
I'm talking
think
the one.
that something else is happening.
But
I
Reese,
disagree.
to answer your question, since the new president has come in, talks have again started about Ukraine possibly joining NATO. That has fired up Vlad again. And not only that, but current events, or it's speculated that current events in America with their discourse, with the presidency, COVID-19 pandemic worldwide, he sees it as an opportunity to strike now or to possibly make a move now, given that there's a lot of other things going on. But
Or does America just maybe need fertile soil to grow more weed?
their interest there is, like, obviously ever since the end of World War II, Russia has been their biggest, I'll say, competitor in the world, right?
Well, I mean,
through the whole Cold War. So, and NATO, and this is where Vladimir Putin and Russia don't like NATO, is NATO was designed and created specifically to keep the Soviet Union and Russia in check, right? So with NATO moving closer and closer to the Russian border, and if Ukraine fell or joined NATO, right, that would be right on Russia's border. And that's, as Dave said before, it'd be no different to another country, or Cuba, you know, and the Soviet Union being entwined. It's just a little too close to home. So
They're also operating.
I mean, isn't it?
Go on.
No, oh no. I was just saying, isn't that kind of similar to Russia putting nukes in Cuba? Like,
that's what we were just saying. Yeah.
yeah. Like,
And look what happened to Cuba because of it.
Yeah. So it's you know, Russia looking after their own borders to a degree. I'm not justifying it, but that's the reasoning for them not wanting Ukraine to join NATO
and their historical borders. So they're also operating under something like, they thought when the Soviet Union disbanded, there was kind of like an agreement between Gorbachev and the other nations that NATO wouldn't expand in eastward in Europe, and that they wouldn't do these things. So whenever it's been happening, Russia does feel like that they're getting closer to their borders. And Vladimir Putin said, it's like, what if we put missiles on America's border in Mexico and Canada? Imagine America would be like, nah, nix it.
exactly.
Yeah. So just like you're right, Reese, just like America was like, fuck this noise in the Cuban Missile Crisis. But what America does actually to curb socialism and communism in South America, because you've got obviously Venezuela and a lot of countries that are socially inclined, is that they go down much like how Russia went into Crimea, and without insignia and mask, and they bolster fake banana republics and governments.
Can you explain Banana Republic? I don't understand that.
Banana Republic's like a nickname. They fought war. They used to get most of your bananas from what country is it in South America? But America basically did a little coup down there and destroyed a whole government over bananas. So they're technically a government was put into power, so that America could control the banana
trade
industry, avocados as well. Fuck, dude, salt used to be the reason why people died back in the day. The whole fucking like spices and shit. People would murder a whole ship of fucking motherfuckers just to take their spices. Like salt used to be a huge commodity actually back in the day, because before freezers and stuff as well.
Maybe they just wanted to make some badass chicken wings.
Salt, fucking oil, Reese. That's all shit you dig out of the ground, and it's mineral. Like you look at Australia, you know, we're lucky motherfuckers aren't coming for us. And in a way, you could say we did come for us already. I mean, we're here. You know what I mean? Like
that was before
the dudes came.
Nobody wants to fuck with Australians, man. We're just a bunch of convicts that fuck. Like, and create more convicts.
No one wants to mess with us because of our geopolitical partners.
Once a kid, don't listen to Reese. We're just a bunch of convicts that want to fuck, and the best things to come out of Australia both start with V. A VB and a VL too.
VL. Fucking
oh, that's sad that you didn't say three things and put Vinno in there. That's sad.
Yeah,
it is.
True.
I'm not gonna put myself up there with VB though.
But the look on his face when I just said that was enough for me to not put him in there.
The glasses came off.
Fucking Jesus.
Yeah, there was that dad moment where it was like, just utter disappointment. Of like, is this?
It wasn't disappointment.
Serious?
It was just, where the fuck does this shit come from?
I don't know, man. I'm not here for fucking facts. I'm
here for a laugh. I love it.
Yeah, I'm just here to fucking egg you two on.
He's gonna say it. He's gonna.
I've said enough. I've done my history now.
Yeah. So you've explained where America's fitted in here a little.
Yeah. So another thing to mention there, just to fill you in a bit more, the agreement with NATO is if any NATO country is attacked,
we got their back.
It's the whole alliance. Yeah. Gets involved. It's so. That's the.
But they're not a NATO country, though.
They're not a NATO country.
It's a brotherhood.
Some people say it's an unofficial NATO country, but they're not a NATO country. They haven't been accepted in. They haven't got the criteria there to.
Is it kind of like a blood in, blood out situation? Like you got to get jumped to get in, or?
It's definitely like that, Reese.
Joe Biden
apart
gets to
from
kick
that-
the living fuck out of you for 30 seconds. Is what.
Just like he did Corn Pop when he rapped that. Did you hear that story about Joe Biden and Corn Pop?
No.
Is it?
So, go on.
No, that's fine. Mine's kind of unrelated to that, but continue.
So when Joe Biden was a kid, and he told us in the campaign trail, he used to be a fucking surf lifesaver at a pool. He was a fucking lifeguard at a pool, right? And there was this bad guy in the neighborhood called Corn Pop. And Corn Pop and his gang would come to the pool and cause lots of shit. So Joe Biden one day was like, "You gotta get out of that pool there, Corn Pop Jack." And that's what young Joe Biden sounds like. And Corn Pop fucking
Corn Pop Jack.
Corn Pop's like
Corn Pop Jack. He kind of reminds me of a little bit of the Jack-o'-lantern, Stingy Jack.
Stingy Jack. Maybe he was a distant relation because he himself was a trouble starter. But this guy was a tough guy. I don't think Stingy Jack was necessarily tough. He was schemy. But Corn Pop was a bad. Joe Biden's honest quote: "Corn Pop was a bad dude." And what Corn Pop did was he waited for Joe Biden outside. And Joe Biden was like, "What am I going to do? Corn Pop's out there." And one of the older guys who worked at the pool was like, "You got to go out there and face him." So Joe was like, and he went over to the railings and he snapped off a chain and he wrapped it around his fist. And he went out there to Corn Pop and was like, "Hey, you ain't coming back in here." And Corn Pop, so impressed with how tough Joe Biden was, he was like, All right, Joe. We're all cool.
See you on January 6th.
That's what...
Oi.
And Joe won that one too. Bang!
Oi. To quote a legend here, that's fucking badass, man.
Badass, man.
I'm fucking badass.
Oh,
yeah, that's the ballad of Corn Pop.
Someone here has to know what I'm talking about.
That was badass, man.
Yeah. Come on.
Oh, is it hip
You
hop or
especially,
Friday related? I probably do. It's just probably a bad impression or something. I don't know. That was badass, man.
It was fucking badass.
I feel like I'm saying it. That was fucking badass, man. I feel like I'm saying it.
No, Dave sounds
definitely
like
Southern.
Dave sounds like he's
Southern.
trying to do a reenactment of an Elvis movie back from fucking early on.
Man, we should. Oh man, the good old Love Me Tender.
It's when they play it. It's from a live album recording. I'll give you that much.
Oh, 101 Proof.
We're gonna cut that motherfucker in half.
Right, welcome to the party. No, what was that? We're gonna fucking go ape shit. 1, 2, 3 from the verse, baby Vince. 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
Can you
Don't
see?
just stand there.
Yeah.
So that was
it's
a bad
got the
impression.
goddamn
when they-
cameras on you.
when they
I thought
do
it was
the
something
Dom
else you
Hollow.
were doing.
What?
Yeah, when they pulled them together, I thought that was
Yeah.
because I actually 101 Proof was my first Pantera album I ever had.
That's a fucking
it was
great
given to
way
me.
to start.
It is a great way, but everything's fucked.
fucking-
So when I heard Cemetery Gates, it didn't have that bit at the start. You know, Cemetery Gates, the way they kind of have that lead guitar bit at the start, that was gone. And then I thought Dom Hollow was one song, and I was like, this fucking.
He
song.
literally says, "We're gonna cut that motherfucker in half."
Yeah, but I'm 12. I'm 12. I've never heard Pantera, and I'm listening to
Must
a
be the
live
most
album.
retarded 12-year-old I've ever heard.
Fucking, this guy's on the raw, isn't he?
Oi, straight
Yeah.
up.
Is he wrong, Dave, or is he
does
wrong?
It's one track on an album.
It is. But he
gonna
it's
argue
called
it.
Dom slash
He
Hollow.
literally
Okay.
slash.
And then Phil talks actually
he actually says we got a song on this Cowboys from Hell album. We're gonna cut that motherfucker in half. Like, come on.
But I don't know. I don't know what Phil's saying because Phil's like, "Oh, where you rocking door?" And here he actually cuts many songs in half. He stops Walk halfway through it just to tell people that they're filming a show, and he goes, "Okay, we're on the first, baby. Let's go." Yeah, you know.
Don't agree with him, Reese. Don't agree with him. Argue with him.
No. Reese wanted this. He's getting it now. All right? And then
How come you argue with me, but you won't argue with Vinno? Fuck you,
No,
man.
I did. Sometimes people, you shouldn't just listen to them, Reese. Okay, that's Reese's quote. That's a Reese
Yeah,
quote
all right, I
from
can't
the start
argue
of
with
this
that.
episode.
Fuck.
But
all right, I remember
and
that.
even Hostile,
Raucous.
that's on that album. Okay, it has fucking Cat Scratch Fever in the middle of it. They just.
It's true.
Oh no,
it
Cowboys.
does.
Sorry, Cowboys.
Dun,
It got
dun,
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 out of nowhere.
dun.
Yeah, and it's beautiful.
So good, and it fits perfect, and then it just cuts and goes.
Yeah.
Dun, dun, dun,
Dun,
dun,
dun,
dun,
dun, dun,
dun,
dun, dun,
It's so good.
Straight back to it. But that's a fantastic. That was my first album, so I discovered Pantera through that.
What an introduction!
It's a weird. It's like a best of live, and so much heavier than the songs.
I still reckon that Reese, you're right. Dave's wrong in this one.
Usually, just like the people on January 6th, the dumb will come together, and they'll form a dumb mold.
Yeah,
That's what I feel like.
But you're with the one guy in this episode that will listen to you. That I said I do think he's worth listening to.
You?
So bring it on. Bring it on.
Wasn't there one of those like dumb people things at the end of your street last weekend?
Dave was up the front with the flag.
Everyone came of our town. They came from your street, though. What are you talking about? They're not from my street, you dumbass. They're probably...
Next
There's
week,
a couple
Dave will
of
come
guys
to us
from
and
my
go,
work
"I
were
got me
talking
30
about they were there.
Got me
People he
33
worked
fines
with,
in the mail."
The people on the same skill level as Reese were like at his work. We're here fucking partying it up in my town.
He's up me, eh? He's up me.
I think we got under his skin
How dare
tonight.
you?
I love it.
How dare
A
you?
little bit.
I live it. I want yous under my skin. I want yous here.
That's what she said.
Oi,
He's just
all right,
seriously,
what's next?
perspirating pretty hard.
Oi,
Look at him.
oi.
I
Wait.
have been actually. I put the aircon on. I'm hoping the thing doesn't pick it up. But I've
Oi,
got
you
this
gotta
fucking
be
LED
a dumb
lights killing me.
motherfucker to get 33 speeding fines.
The one dude. Well, no, because he did. In fairness, if you are from Canberra, that place is renowned for. In a couple of years
Roundabouts?
ago, they dropped it from 7. Well, there is a roundabout on each end of it, so that's what he was doing. But he was going past the same fucking speeding camera, and it's like a 50k zone, and it feels like it should be 80. But man, yeah, he just got smashed. The poor fucker.
Well,
So many of them.
all I'm thinking of is, you gotta be a stupid motherfucker to get fired on your day off.
Yeah. He did. He was on holiday, and that holiday cost.
Yeah. Oh, it cost him.
His wife, what? Did you get the freedom, honey? He's like, oh no, I actually got a huge government fine. It looks like we'll be giving the government
33
quite a
of the
bit of money.
cunts.
Yeah. And
Next,
that's
he'll be
federal. We
claiming he's
don't
a
have-
sovereign
yeah.
citizen.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck.
Oh, I love that.
See, it caught me on camera stealing boxes.
Reese is just on here for quotes. I love it.
Yeah, yeah. Reese is like, oh, I didn't look up any of the Ukrainian stuff.
Nah.
But here's a quote from Friday.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Nah, look.
I'm good for fucking tinnies.
No, I wish I
bogan
hadn't put all
euphemisms
that
and
together.
fucking-
I wish I hadn't.
Why?
Yeah.
But
No,
because I couldn't, I ended up, I couldn't get through it. People were comparing it to things that it wasn't, and I hope it doesn't confuse the viewer out here.
you like a coat hanging
No,
around.
I am.
You
I'm
fucking
happy.
get
I am
hung up
happy. I
on
did
it.
it. I am happy. I did it.
No, I think
But yeah, the part of the world has been fucking like. If we were to go back serious now, has gone through a lot of shit. Like tens of millions of people died in that country, or were dispersed in that time. And we look at Ukraine as a little border state that's here or there, but like we said earlier, twice the size of our country. It is literally twice that many people. And all I really care about out of this as just two things as a fucking community member of Earth, please don't go to war. Like fucking, that's the last thing we do. I don't think Russia will. Or I don't think it will get to the stage where we're launching nukes at each other, because that's mutually. Reese, have you
That's
ever
the
heard
end
of
of the world.
MAD? Have you ever heard of something called MAD? MAD? Anybody?
Like the magazine.
no, not
Well,
mad,
yeah,
no.
I guess. Yeah. No, but that's true. He is true as well. But MAD
He's
is
giving you
mutually
the same
assured
treatment.
destruction. No, but it's mutually assured destruction. There's a Megadeth song. You speak of mutually assured destruction. But anyway, that's the idea that if Russia and America start flying nukes, it's done. Anyway,
Yeah, the world's
Russia-
over if that happens.
Russia has a dead
The
hand
moment
system.
the moment the first person
can't
sends a
lose.
nuke now,
Yeah.
the world's over.
Yeah,
There's-
like Russia has it now. If they're unresponsive, the nukes will fly.
Yeah.
So it's called the dead hand system. So it's like, you better not fucking kill us, or we're all dead.
But
Yeah.
nobody wins. That's right. It's
Yeah.
it's a complete and utter waste of time, and that's why I guess it's kind of like a stalemate, because I think everybody knows that.
Yeah.
So it's kind of
that's-
like
yeah.
I wouldn't call it a safe zone, because it only takes one stupid motherfucker to do the wrong thing,
But saying
and
that,
someone will. But
saying that,
like,
this is one of the arguments, in regards to sanctions not being put on Russia for things that they've done to Ukraine, and this is one of the, I can't remember who said it, but they said, does having nuclear weapons make you impenetrable, or make you I'm trying to think of the word, but does it absolve you from
Penetrable?
does it absolve you from consequences from international, can't even fucking think. Basically,
I know what you mean, though. It is true. It's like,
Yeah.
if you have nuclear weapons, you're not going to get invaded. You're not going to be fucked with.
Yeah.
Like, countries with
I'm gonna
nuclear
look up that
weapons,
quote.
America hasn't invaded them at all. Russia hasn't invaded them. No one does. That's why North
and
Korea.
that's why the US doesn't
there.
want anyone to have.
absolutely.
Well, that's right, because you lose your control over them. However,
That's right.
here's what there is. Russia would be destroyed economically if they invaded Ukraine. They would have sanctions from all over the world. There would be a huge trade war. It would be horrible. They would take a huge hit. However, they're weighing it up.
Yeah.
So
So
if we
that
go in there, we're taking a hit anyway. If they join the EU and all of a sudden
So-
we've got a hard border with NATO, more NATO countries.
so just
Obviously,
that quote I was talking about. Sorry, just quickly. Ian Kelly.
No, you're fine.
Who was a ambassador to Georgia from 2015 to 2018.
They were invaded, actually, really quickly. Georgia was annexed and invaded by Russia a couple of years before Crimea. Go on.
Yeah. Okay. There you go.
They're a former Soviet
been
state.
So he said, basically just showed that if you have nuclear weapons, as Russia does, you're inoculated against strong measures by the international community. And that was in regards to Barack Obama hesitant to escalate tensions with Russia after 2014. So there he is. I thought he'd frozen again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Two-
So
2008 is when Georgia was annexed, I think,
there you go.
by Russia.
Yeah.
They're former Soviet too. But he
So,
is right.
like-
That dude's right.
Yeah.
That dude's absolutely
What
right.
you're saying,
Ukraine
it becomes a
wouldn't have an issue
stalemate,
right
but
now.
to the point where nothing happens. People can sort of push boundaries, but they're all too afraid to go to sanction or go to the length of even sanction. With
They
the
don't
threat
go
of-
to war directly with each other. It's the same as Vietnam, Reese.
Absolutely.
Instead of China and America fighting each other, America fights Vietnam. So they fight the Chinese movements. You know what I mean? Instead of America fighting Afghanistan, instead of America fighting Russia, they'll give money to the Afghan army, the Mujahideen, and that's how they beat Russia. So instead of America fighting Russia in Europe, they'll give money to Ukraine.
or weapons, and
so on
that's
and
what's
so forth.
happening. Yeah.
And,
yeah.
and instead of Russia fighting America, they'll give fucking nuclear missiles to Cuba. So that's how you fight your wars now. You use other countries as pawns. It's mad
It's
sad.
pretty much just keyboard warriors on a huge level.
Yeah.
That's
But
how
if
I look
the-
at it.
No,
I'm going to sound
it's
so
true.
fucking stupid in this episode, and I already know it. But, like, seriously,
It's true though. I find that it's simple as fuck. It's like because to normal, if you're wrapped all in it, you're fucking you're like, oh, but fucking what about this and this and this? It's like, hold on, mate, hold on. There's just these people that don't want to be invaded and they want to be part of this group and not that group. What's the problem? Fuck off. You know, it should be. And hold on, you've got a problem with them? Well, why are you giving money to their enemies for to fight them? Why don't you just talk with them or fight them? Like, it's that simple. It is that simple. But it's so
maybe
hard
they should just
because
write
everyone's-
diss tracks
yeah.
about each other.
No, but that causes
Sort of
more
like rap
problems.
beef.
Maybe if
Did
they all
that
sat
help
down in one
Tupac
room and watched
and
Cool
Biggie
Runnings, I
Reese?
think they would all be brought together a lot sooner. Things would be
You know
resolved.
what? Ignorance is bliss. Ignorance is bliss. Vladimir Putin probably had a hand in that fucking movie. Nah, that's American propaganda.
That's American.
No Jamaicans on the team. All American actors, but whatever. Fake accents too. Wow. Now, will you let them away with that one because it's a movie? I'll let them away with that one.
It's true.
But once again, shouldn't we challenge people now in our audience about this stuff? If you know more about this stuff, and you probably do,
Yeah.
get in the comments or say, hey dudes, have us on and let me tell you about Ukraine.
Yeah,
Let me tell you
educate
about...
me because I read comments but I don't watch the news, so you know.
You shouldn't watch the news.
It's fucking
If you watched it,
depressing,
you
dude.
I don't watch Aussie news anymore
anyway. So
because that depresses me. Aussie news depresses me because it's close to home. So I watch American news recreationally. I like to because I laugh at them. It's mad sad. It's mad sad.
last
It's
is
mad.
goals and
But
As
it's
shit.
also-
depressing as here, or
Oh, it's well worse. It's well worse in America. We've so many great things here compared to America. This is the
in
land
all
of
honesty
milk
though,
and
like what
honey.
media can you trust these days?
ABC.
Fireside
Trust the
Yarns.
ABC. Although your two mates from work probably don't think we should, but we should. We could trust the ABC. They hate the ABC, man. But they're a national broadcaster though, so it's kind of hard. It depends what you want to know the truth about. You know what I mean? Like, if you want to know the truth about Russia, you probably shouldn't listen to Russian state media. If you want to know the truth about America, you probably shouldn't listen to American state media. Or if you want to know about what the Democrats are up to, you could probably listen to a bit of what the Republicans are saying, but you should realize that they're going to heighten it. If you want to know what the Republicans are doing, you can listen to the Democrats, but you have to realize their biases. It's all a web and mindfuck. But America at least makes it funny. It's pretty funny. There are a lot of characters over there. Imagine politics with 18 Pauline Hansons. All, you know what I mean? Of all different fucking hairstyles and shit. Like, it's so funny, man. It's so funny. We've only got like 3 of them. What have we got? Like, Craig Kelly.
Can you remember that song that came out in the 90s? It was like that.
I don't like it.
Quoted. Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
that was
did.
Pauline
Never
Pants
will.
Down.
Yes. Pauline
Yeah,
Pants Down.
she's got a Twitter. She's pretty funny still. She's like a she still does her thing. Yeah.
That she was funny. That was in the Hottest 100 CD and shit.
What year was that?
Wait, and actually, oh fuck,
It'll be old as fuck.
96, maybe.
Yeah, that was when she was on her first tirade, wasn't it?
Before she said, fuck this country, I'm moving to England. And she moved to England and she realised, yeah, you look up, Pauline Hanson left this country. And she got to England and realised, oh, look, there's multiculturalism everywhere. And came back. Yeah. She went, didn't she go to jail as well? I don't know.
I'm not sure.
Just such a
knows,
hateful piece of
man?
shit.
She's just a waste of
I'd
air.
tell you if I watched the news.
I'm a Jackie Lambie guy now.
Honestly though, from the perspective of doing a podcast, it's probably a bad thing.
Why?
Because it makes me uneducated. Do you know what I mean? Like it gives me. That's why
You
I
asked
resort
the
to
question-
quoting
you asked the
irrelevant
question. We're all
shit.
uneducated.
Like, do
You
know-
asked the
do you know what I
question
mean?
though
Like-
from the perspective of someone that's not sure, and that's what I said earlier in the week. When you asked, should I be studying this? And I went, no, because you'll ask some interesting questions, which you have. That, you know, people might ask in the comments or messages or something like that, but you asking those questions prompts a different type of discussion. So
Also,
nothing wrong
everything
with
we've said is probably fucking cacked up and wrong and misplaced, and years are off, and presidents' names are wrong. You know what I mean? Like, we're all fucking wrong. You know what I mean? Like,
we do this shit so that we can learn about it as well.
this
'Cause,
is
like
it's a bit of a laugh. Yeah.
we know what's happening there at the moment in regards to the soldiers on the border and whatnot. Because
Speak for yourself.
It's in the news. Well, it's
Although
in the-
there is even
this is
that,
what we're
you don't
saying.
know who to listen to.
But it's an interesting topic to talk about. So that's why we went, righto, let's get on there and let's do this, because it's something that's happening at the moment. It's something that could affect, you know, the rest of the whole
It will
world
affect
in
it.
the next few months and stuff like that. So let's fucking
What
talk
do you
about
think
it.
the outcome? Like, I mean, obviously, if it does get pretty hectic and conflict starts and everyone, or like you said, potential of World War III or whatever. Like,
I don't think that.
what do you think? What do you think that kind of situation would be like now?
Well,
Obviously,
we know
it's
what
not
it's
gonna.
like.
It's not gonna be cannon fodder. Like, just send a fucking million cunts to die like it used to be. Like, obviously, war's a lot more strategic and planned than just running troops at. I mean, to an extent, I guess it's still that, but like, do you know what I mean? Like, I feel like it's.
Do you mean like a
much
war
more
with
remote
like
now.
what would a war be like now? Like a world war?
Yeah.
Or do you mean in this situation?
Well, just in
any-
general, like,
anyone.
what do you think a world war in this day and age would be like?
Drones. It's all drones.
Yeah.
And it's going to be you'll have what you call it? Cyber attacks. So, for instance, Russia will turn off a dam in America or a power station. America will have an equal and opposite response, or they'll escalate it and they'll shut down fucking all the water to fucking Moscow. Like, that's what will happen. And we'll also have drones. Like, it'll be very like people now. It's like why even send it humans anywhere? You know what I mean? That's what it's going to get. I don't know what Russia's drone game is like, but here's the thing: Russia's never going to lose a war to the point of there's no Russia anymore. They're going to be like, no, fuck yous, we're not being destroyed. So same with America, same with China, same with France, same with Britain, same with all these countries that have
Nuclear power.
and nuclear power. They're designed to be like, okay, fuck yeah, now it would be very hard to destroy us now, because anyone who destroys us are gonna fucking suck nuclear winter. So I don't think anyone's gonna do that, except for it's gonna be like, in Aliens when they're stuck in what's the name of it? There's two of them and they're stuck in the vents and all they got is a grenade left and the fucking xenomorphs coming at them. They just pull the fucking thing. That's what I think nuclear war is. And then we'll all be looking at fucking missiles flying and then blink. Have you seen? Yeah, but game over, man. What's that from? That's from Aliens. Yeah, hell yeah, that's from Aliens. Bill Paxton, rest in peace. R.A. the Rugged Man fan. Him and his son. Like that picture. This picture on the screen right now.
He's not going to do it. There's no picture. It's just us still talking
all
shit.
I'm hoping is just that this is recording right now. That's all I care about.
Down. It's going.
Double check.
It's going. We're gonna.
Okay, all right. So we've all just logged into Sportsbet. Every country's in the odds. If you had to pick one for a favourite, who do you reckon's the first country to fucking push the red button for the first nuke?
It depends the situation. Any of those countries, if they're in a certain situation, would do it. I think North Korea. You got to look at countries that aren't rational actors. So who are countries that have nuclear weapons that are kind of like the craziest? So you have North Korea, you have Pakistan and India. They share a border together and hate each other. They both have nukes. That kind of stopped their war in a way. It was like, okay, now if it gets too rough, we're all fucked. So let's just take a step back.
But is it just
Israel?
a case of
Israel has nukes.
Is it just
So
the
do
case
they
of
launch?
the craziest, or is it who has the most to lose?
I think if you've the most to lose, you can lose something, right? So you can live to fight another day. But if you've got nothing to lose, those are the countries that.
True.
that
Actually, I was just about to say, yeah. Actually, is it?
'Cause
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
No,
Yeah,
North
that makes
Korea
sense.
has no its only real friend. Is you could say Russia and China are kind of allies to it in certain ways because they share that. The Japanese
Hatred for
Imperial
America.
Army fucking took over China and Korea, and they were horrible there. And yeah, the anti-American sentiment and the fact that they love Lenin and Marx and stuff. But anyway, that's what I mean. Like, to me, it's who's the first one to set one off would probably be one of those lower nations. I don't mean smaller nations, because I think that their back would be against the wall and they've nothing to lose. But as soon as they did it, they would.
It'd be on for young and old.
Yeah.
I mean, they've got
They would be
got
wiped out.
systems in place to detect when missiles are launched. You know, they know when it's happening. So as soon as something like that happened legitimately, it'd be, yeah.
But we could survive. We could survive if Pakistan and India had a skirmish. I think whoever started that would be destroyed by all countries, because although the geopolitical interests of America and Pakistan, and then China has a border with all these motherfuckers, so they'll get involved. But I think cooler heads would prevail. The only way I could see the world going would be like a nuclear terrorist attack. So if a country was like, we're ending this now, or if it got to that stage where it was like, okay, Pakistan and India are fighting, okay, shit, now it's blown over to France. Now France is going to destroy Pakistan because they've misfired somewhere, and now because France have attacked Pakistan, and it's gotten to that level, and now it's fucking Russia and America are looking at each other at the button going, fuck it. They have to, you know, someone's got to press it first. That's the only way I can think of. Everybody relax. This is not going to happen. This is not.
He's just gone on a big rant.
I just can't understand how it could happen. I think everyone's too much of a rational actor to do it. I can't see the benefit.
Well, I mean, people in
gone are the
charge should
days.
be that rational.
Yeah, the last people, everybody, to murder a person with a nuclear weapon is the United States, and they did it twice in very close succession in Hiroshima and Nagasaki, and no one has done that since. There's been a heap of tests, and the biggest test ever is the Tsar bomber, which is a Russian, I think it's like a fucking 50 megaton bomb or whatever they dropped from a plane or something. And that, if the wind was the wrong on that day, could have destroyed Siberia. Like the fucking, because they didn't know what they were doing half the time. Like, we got very lucky in a lot of these nuclear tests. Australia used to be a nuclear testing site for England and France. They've turned their sand glass in a lot of places in central Australia, and all around in the sea as well.
It's just crazy, and it's scary to even think that we're at this stage in history where, you know, one push of a button, essentially.
I have to get Oppenheimer's quote.
Yeah.
Because he invented it. What was it?
Who?
Now I had become death, I think he said. When he invented the nuclear bomb? What was it? Fuck. What is it? I'll look this up. Keep talking.
It's, I don't know, man.
Now I am become death, the destroyer of worlds.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That's,
Yeah.
yeah.
Because he was like, he regretted it. Immediately, he was like, wow. They didn't even think it, like, it was that successful. They were like, wow, shit.
Isn't it crazy too? Like, you know, like, I mean, nuclear for our entire lives has existed and been a thing.
Yep.
But like, I don't know if you guys like. I remember a lot as a kid of people talking about like how biological warfare would overtake nuclear, but it's still kind of not really the case. Do you know what I mean? Like, at least it's not as commercialized.
It's one of those things that if you do it, if you started a biological war, you
Don't
know what
forget
I mean? It's
as
like,
well,
how do you contain it?
We had still a lot of, you know, essentially it was a long time between, but World War One and World War Two was still fresh in mind, and Vietnam as well, where
Gas.
it was, so mustard gas and those sorts of things we used. So I suppose first-hand experience or conversations about those sorts of weapons were talked about a lot as well, from my memory.
Very
anyway.
unsuccessful. I mean, a lot of those gas weapons as well, particularly in World War One, wind. You'd end up fucking your own people.
Yeah.
So, that, so a lot of people remember that, and then we look at Vietnam, which was one of the first televised wars we got to fucking see.
Yeah.
Nearly live what that stuff did to people and children and devastation. Like, and I think it's a war crime. So we've all kind of came together and decided this is not right.
This is fucked up. Yeah.
Yeah. But here's the thing. Gaddafi, right, in Libya, when he gave up his weapons of mass destruction, now they weren't nuclear weapons, but he had mustard gas, he had weapons, all right. As soon as he did that, he was overtaken. As soon as he did it, he's gone. So,
well, the threat's gone.
and he was trying to improve relations with the United States and move Libya more towards Africa. He's somebody you could do a whole episode on, Muammar Gaddafi. Great things about him and terrible things about him. You know, and a crazy, interesting dictator too. We'd wear the sunglasses, like you know the Dictator movie, Sacha Baron Cohen, right?
Yeah.
Ali G. That's based on the likes of Muammar Gaddafi. He used to have virgin bodyguard Amazonian women who'd look after. He used to have golden handguns. This dude was crazy. He used to call himself the King of Kings. I think that they did a song on about him in Ill Bill and Vinny Paz's Heavy Metal Kings album. But anyway, he is a fucking... Ever get a chance to look up Muammar Gaddafi in Libya?
Yeah,
crazy. And he was the first ever Libyan leader too. I could talk about him for fucking ages. I was obsessed with him for a long time, and then watched him get murdered on TV. Yeah, it was incredible. Live.
Did you say those words in the right order? I watched him get murdered on TV, and it was
live.
Yeah, incredible.
It was incredible because it shocked me, because I'd never. To me, it was like, but wait a minute. So I'll put this in context. So Muammar Gaddafi is fleeing to Sirte, which is his hometown in Libya, because the rebels are taking over, and these are backed by France and America and all that. Mm-hmm. So he's fleeing, and rebels are chasing him, and the airstrikes from France and America blockade the road, and his convoy now is fucked, and he is hiding in a fucking drain, and he gets found, and it's all on camera. They're videotaping, finding the leader of, and they drag him out. They're stabbing him in the arse. They take him on a truck, parade him around town, bashing him up, and torturing him through the streets. I watched that live on TV with my dad beside me, and because I'd never seen anything like it, and I'd been following Gaddafi, because Gaddafi's someone who had done some great things in Africa. You should look him up. He's also a horrible dictator, but he did. But to me, it was, when I was looking at it, I couldn't believe. So wait, the good guys have him now, and they're doing this to him. And my dad was like, "Look, this is what happens. He's basically a warlord, and when the people catch you, and whether they're government-funded militias from different countries or not, or helped by." Now, I could not be like, no, I can't look at these people that are torturing an elderly man in the street and say, these people should be in charge of my country. You know, arrest them. Put them on trial. You know what I mean? But ripping them and torturing them and raping them, and like watch that video. I don't even know if it's still around. You probably is, because I watched it on the news. On the news in Australia, and it shocked me because I couldn't believe. And Hillary Clinton is on TV going, "We got him, ha 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 ha. We came, we saw, he's dead." That's what she said on it, and I was like, "Oh, you know, you should be like, look, he was a terrible man. Hopefully now Libya can move on, and that's what you say."
Yeah, as a leader, as a
leader, and if I'm the leader of the opposition of Libya, I'll be like, don't do that to him. He must stand trial. He must be made stand in front of the people. He is, you know, that's what it's about. That's what your country. If you're a good guys, that's what you do. You don't. And then they had his body on display for people to, you know, go and visit and laugh at and stuff. And to me, it was like, that was a soul destroying. Wow, like, what is a good guy? What is a bad guy? How do we treat our enemies? Became a big thing to me.
Yeah, I think as Westerners, we see the good guys very different to probably what other people do.
That's right. And if you're
that comes down to what we were talking about before, about what news you get fed too, like and sort of
January 6th.
And here's the thing: if you Russia was insanely pissed off about Libya, because Libya was a Russian friend. So you watch Vladimir Putin talk about what happened live when it was happening. He goes, "Who's going to take care of Libya now? What's going to like?" He was seriously fucking pissed, and because ultimately you have to cut your losses there. Russia can't keep pushing, you know. They put their foot down with Syria. Syria is a Russian ally, and Assad is still there. They tried to do the same thing that they did to Gaddafi to Assad, which is bolster the revolution, give money and weapons to the militants, and take out Assad. Now, I've got my own opinions about Assad and about Saddam and about Gaddafi and all these people and I think they shouldn't be in charge. Obviously, I'm a big democracy dude. But how you do it?
Vinno's not.
How you do it and why you do it.
Well, it's
Vinno's
interesting when you see, and it's a completely different culture too in a lot of ways. Like you look at Iraq, especially with Saddam Hussein, where it's a very still tribal.
Hey, relax,
culture.
guy.
They ruined Saddam. They ruined him in the 80s too with Hot Shots. Do you remember Hot Shots? Fucking Saddam
Charlie
and that,
Sheen.
with Charlie Sheen as Rambo and all.
Oh,
Shoots
actually,
the
yeah, I do.
chicken.
Yeah.
And Saddam's the bad guy in that. And he's so funny. He actually kills him with a chicken, doesn't he? Ball and arrow.
man.
No, he
into
just-
Saddam or
it's
something.
one
It's
of
funny
his
because I
bodyguards.
was nearly going to just bring it up before about Saddam because I recently just started rewatching South Park from the beginning.
Oh,
And I
yeah.
completely forgot about all the Saddam episodes. I was just like, oh man, like this is wild.
He's another
Yeah.
But they put him on trial. They didn't put Osama on trial. Motherfuckers, we captured him, killed him, and chucked him in
But
the
look at
fucking
the-
sea.
look at
That's
the
some
vacuum.
gangster shit. However you look at that.
Look
Oh,
at the
he's gone.
vacuum
Oh,
that
where is
happens
he?
from
In the sea.
Saddam though, with with their culture and the tribal nature of that area, and the power vacuum that occurred. To try and it's very arrogant, I suppose, from Western cultures to expect people just to accept democracy overnight. In a lot of
But
ways,
Saddam was hated in his own
he was,
Iraq really
and
should be
he led
free
with
countries.
fear. But
yeah.
once he was gone, essentially you return still back to that tribal aspect of we need a leader, and
Well, they occupied it. Yeah.
yeah. So, and don't get me wrong, I don't agree with Saddam Hussein or any of the things that he did, but it's interesting to look at, what happens when these leaders do get removed from power and the different cultures and the expectation from first world countries that these, other nations are just going to accept democracy and go forward when they're not used to it.
Well, it's not a case of that. I don't think Saddam had to be.
In
stopped.
some ways, it is.
He was
he did.
committing genocide
Look, he did.
to the Kurdish
Yeah.
people. Like
I'm not saying that he shouldn't have been stopped.
They're
I'm not saying
Westerns,
that at all.
Westerners.
No, I'm saying it's the
I think
fallback
he is
from
trying
that.
to say that, Dave.
From that.
You what?
Once Saddam
Reece,
was
he is
removed,
trying
he's
to
just
say
trying to stir shit, Reece. Once Saddam was removed, you obviously get the results from that. Yeah, stirring the pot. Can't even fucking.
If only we had Saddam back in Iraq, everything would be fine.
Fuck.
I know. I know.
See how my shit gets twisted on this show. Like,
I
every
support
time.
Saddam getting ousted. They should have done
Absolutely.
it in the 80s.
Yeah,
They should have
absolutely.
done it in the 80s before he could do that.
Yep.
But it's what they did after and how they stuck around. That was the
That's
the
what
wrong
I'm
way of
talking
doing
about. Yeah,
things.
forcing a system of government on people that aren't used to it or don't necessarily want that system of government. Yeah. Anyway,
Yeah.
you're gonna close us.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. If you are happy to close out, like, yeah. I mean, it still seems, I don't know, man. Maybe it's just me being a dumb cunt, but it just seems trivial and stupid. Like, why there's fucking.
It is trivial and
It
stupid.
is, yeah.
Yeah,
is.
it's just, the human
Every
race
war,
just
when you look at it, man, is
boggles me
trivial and
sometimes,
stupid and could be
man.
resolved in another way.
Yeah, it's just.
And it usually starts about 150 years ago. You know what I mean? It's always these old ass fucking issues that just fucking just spiral out of control to a breaking point.
Yeah.
And yeah,
Yeah,
But it's no different, to even centuries ago. They were having the same wars over the same shit, like,
The same places even.
yeah.
It's all
just
Afghanistan was the war zone for fucking all of the, what do they call it, the graveyard of the empires.
Yeah.
Everyone fights there. Yeah.
It's just power, man. It's just power and beliefs
And greed.
dumb
Natural
shit.
resources.
It's fucking stupid, man.
It's, yeah.
Find your own dirt, you dumb fucks. Fuck me.
That sounds like the start.
That's
of
all
the
Reese has taken out of this episode.
That's how it starts, Reese.
He heard Ukraine had some good dirt, and that's what he's fucking sticking with.
It's like, why can't everyone get along? Get your own dirt.
Yeah. Come to Fireside Yarns where we give you the dirt. Yeah.
No, we don't. You get your own dirt.
Yeah.
And if you
It's,
take my dirt, you're not a true
You
fucking
dirty
BL
cunt.
supporter.
Yeah.
You fucking dirt cunts. No. Yeah,
Who should we nuke? Okay, let's end this. Okay, if we had to nuke a country, who would? As Australia, all right, we're Australia. We have nukes. We're not going to get retaliated against. The world has allowed us one grievance: nuke them. Reese, who do you nuke?
No, fuck you. I want to hear Dave's first. If he's going to put us in this position,
Yeah,
I wanna
actually,
hear
yeah,
yours
go on.
first. England.
Now, does this nuclear bomb just destroy that country?
No, you're fucking this cat.
Yeah,
We're
you-
on
you
the
No,
said
I'm
show,
asking
mate.
the question.
Is
So,
this
okay,
like your? This is your kind of.
Because there's
fucked up
neighbouring
would you rather.
countries I like. There's neighbouring countries I like. So I just want to make sure that the analogy is. if I
Okay,
hit
so
this
as soon
country,
as
it's
as
just
soon
that
as the
country.
bomb
The nuclear
hits,
winter
a
stops
magic
at the
bubble
border.
goes over the fucking.
Okay.
country.
Okay, England. Go on. Next. Who's next?
Picked it
Who's
like
next?
a
Go
dirty
on.
nose.
Go on, big tough guys.
Reece,
Go on, big
Reece.
tough guys.
Reece.
England. 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 Just do it. Just do it. Give me an England. You could do something nice. Wait, which one? Which one? Are you going to nuke a united Ireland? Because that would be beautiful to see.
No,
it
no,
happen before they went.
Dude. Fuck.
You could do New Zealand so you could win a fucking rugby game.
Whoa. I'm pretty sure I've definitely watched more Wallabies wins than Kiwi wins, to be honest.
Not the last 10 years.
Well,
you haven't.
no, but I haven't watched rugby for a long time either. You know,
Yeah,
it's one of those like quit while
But
you're
even
ahead
back
kind of
before
things.
that, didn't they take over around the 90s New Zealand as the better team after the Lomu years?
Early 2000s.
Oh no, but then John Eales and Gregan and all came back and they had
man.
another era, didn't they?
Early 2000s was like pretty Wallabies orientated.
Oh man, you fucking Matt Giddo, fucking Roger, fucking Mortlock and Wendell Saylor and Lottie Takiri.
Yes,
That was a
exactly.
wicked team, actually. That was a fucking amazing team.
It really was.
Kefu, man, on the flank. Steve Waugh on the other flank.
Right.
Flankers, man.
I don't watch rugby.
That was a fucking fantastic team.
So,
You had to know that team.
Yeah.
Oh, I knew-
George
100%.
Gregan.
I knew Lottie Takiri and I knew Wendell Saylor. I knew Matt Rogers.
You
You
them
don't know
from
John
league,
Eales
though.
was the
You know
captain.
them from Matt Rogers was like he ended up playing for the Sharks, didn't he? And
He
all
went
those
from
other
Sharks.
boys.
Yeah.
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 Went
He
there
ended
from
up-
Sharks.
He come
Gregan
back-
was one of the best halfbacks of all time, though.
So
Ever,
I knew
ever.
Gregan because he
Yeah.
was like when they were in their prime time. He was
Oh, he
always
was captain.
news. Yeah.
He's captain after John Eales, I think.
Yeah,
Wasn't it
yeah.
captain after Eales? Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, yeah.
Ealesy, what a gent. And even
They're
before that,
fucking giant
Campese.
too, man.
Yeah, he's a huge motherfucker. Huge motherfucker.
But that's the
Awkward
thing
looking.
in rugby, like number 8's supposed to be big like that. Like that's
Yeah, you're lifting him up. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what
But
it's
I
supposed to
love
be.
that about rugby. Rugby is a sport for all motherfuckers. Like, if you're a fat kid in school, it's like, all right, hop in front row. If you're a
You're a
tall,
hooker,
gangly fella, we're going to lift you up, number 8. If you're a stumpy, big-legged bastard, flank him.
Yeah.
If you got some talent, put him in half-back or, fly half.
Bro, I was just a skinny little kid that could run half quick, so I played outside.
What were you,
centre.
outside centre, I think you said, weren't
Yeah,
you? Were you
outside
like
centre
13 or
winger.
14 or whatever?
Yeah. Yeah. Fucking rugby. Yeah, but in regards to nuking, I don't know, man.
Oh, yeah, who you murdering? Who you destroying?
The whole
Where are you
country?
Yeah. Here, oh no, look, I asked questions that I got in trouble. Immediately I gave it. Go on. I would have said it earlier too. I just didn't want to hurt Scotland or Ireland or Wales. You know, I was like, I gotta hit him.
Whole country.
Whole country gone. Neighbours fine. All good. This is a horrible discussion.
It
You started
really
it.
is.
But at least we gave England a dig. Oh, who deserves it?
Do you know what? Look, I'm probably nearly going to agree with you.
All right, cool. Yeah. Vinno, England.
North Korea.
Oh, you're going to kill all those North Korean people? They're prisoners.
Yeah, that's kind of where I like, because it's
That's
like...
I was thinking North Korea too. But
It's a minute amount of people that
collateral
make
damage.
that country shit.
Collateral damage.
nah, I couldn't do that to the people. I want to see them free one day. Vinno,
Okay. They would be.
So
the
you're...
English
would be.
people
Wait, wait,
destroyed your people, Vinno. The English
wait.
destroyed your people, Vinno.
Your excuse for destroying an entire country is fucking collateral damage.
What's
That
your
was
excuse
that's
for
the most
bombing England?
evil. They're all scum. They're all scum.
But...
All scum.
All of them.
No, they support their royal family. They love their royal shit.
So
they have
you
the
want to
freedom to
destroy
get
an
rid of it and
entire
have a
country
parliament.
and take it as collateral damage. Were you at the end of Dave's Street last weekend fighting for your freedom?
No, mate, I don't
'Cause
work
it's
with
kind
you.
of the same thing, right?
These guys.
Collateral
January-
damage, man.
Reece,
I mean,
it's like January-
hospital workers suffering under shit.
It's like
pay
January
and
6th,
shit
mate.
conditions.
It's like January 6th.
It's just, you know, when you think about it, North Korea is just like January 6th. You know, everything is when you think about it. If you think about it
Yeah.
hard enough, anything
really
can
want-
be. Scotch of the week, just like January 6th.
Dave's whole
hard
history lesson, just like
It's
January
smoothing.
6th.
It's just exactly. It was just like January 6th. Well, if you were to take the Vinno's imagination of what January 6th is, you could put it to fucking anything.
If you could take
Christmas.
Dave's
January 6th.
hatred for anybody questioning him, you could drive a whole
What would you
fucking
get?
car.
What would you get then?
What would you-
Hey, Vinno,
You can question
Yeah.
me. Just yeah.
facts don't care about your feelings, mate.
No, they don't.
Oh, Ben Shapiro quote. Oh God,
Well, he's
that's vicious.
hang on, just let me loosen my collar here.
No, I'm doing me headphone. My headphones get caught up here and they twist and choke me to death. So I just gotta pull them out.
Join the can club, bro.
I don't want those big things in my head.
That's what she said.
I thought about it. That's what she said, but I didn't know if it was good enough.
Oh, it was
I think
very
it
rare
does.
opportunity.
I don't want them big things on my head. I think that's what she said. It's in there.
Yeah, okay.
Because it
Yeah.
can be balls for real. That's what I was
what
thinking of. She didn't want big balls on her head.
Anyway,
This week,
Look,
that's what she said.
I think I'm just gonna call it there because I think we're starting to go a little downhill, and yeah, I don't know.
Downhill.
Hey,
It's very like January 6th down here.
very much like Crimea
It was Capitol Hill, wasn't it?
that they started on.
That's right. No, it started at the protest, didn't it? And then went to
Yeah,
Capitol
yeah.
Hill, Congress.
Went to, yeah. There you go.
Exactly like January 6th was January 6th. To a T.
He's
A
not
mirror
gonna-
image of it.
Do you think he'll ever?
You know what? We should do a January 6th episode. That could actually be a cool one.
Well, I'd like to
considering
have one
it's,
of our
February
American guests
now,
on
I think we
here
missed
to do
our
it
chance.
because I'd like to get the perspective of them watching that as an American in that situation.
We need two guests. We need an American that was against it and an American that was at it. I want to talk to that
a
motherfucker.
proper fireside debate.
Oh man, we should have. We should do a fireside debate. Get
I've
someone.
been trying to get it all night.
I have. I've just been swatting arguments away. Like,
Listen to it. Listen to
I'm here defeating a colonialist country. With nuclear weapons. I've managed to get Reese here on board to join me, and then just like Kim Jong Il and Un and Kim Il Sung, Vinno just destroys the North Korean people. He didn't even have to. He could pick any country in the world.
Yep.
And you know what? You felt the effects of that because you lost your internet mid-episode. They don't have internet either, or electricity in a lot of places.
Shit you not. It
Hang on,
didn't make sense, all right?
Let's just prove that
because
Reese does watch
it was-
the news, because that was recently on the news.
Was it
Yeah.
really?
What did you say?
Yeah. Reese was talking about how North Korea doesn't have internet. That was recently on the news. So I call bullshit, man, on you not knowing all this shit.
Well, that's it. That's not a recent thing. That's always been the thing. Even electricity.
Yeah. I'm just talking about the recent stuff. Did you see the recent story where they had a news crew in there and some dude had Google on the screen and was just looking at the blank screen, not doing anything like.
Well, maybe last week's episode, I woke up in North Korea that day because I had no internet.
No, you wouldn't. You would have been nuked.
If you were in charge. If you
this is
going nowhere. It's fucking.
Yeah, look, I'm gonna end it.
Yeah.
Should I end it?
Yeah.
Keep it going. Keep it going.
I do kind of.
This is what it's like for Vinno. This is what it's like for Vinno, Reese.
Yeah,
when he's trying to end it.
But you see,
You've gotta be the host. Be the
I'm
host.
cutting myself off right now.
Yeah, be the host.
So you're just a
Be
serial
all right.
It's only when Vinno's the host.
Reese, just be like, all right, and then
All right. No. Yeah. No. Yeah.
Are you gonna end
Thanks.
it?
Oh. Well, I was waiting for you to cut me off again.
we apologise.
Maybe because I'm hosting, I'm not cutting me off anymore. I don't know.
No.
Hey, so yeah. Thanks for tuning in for another episode.
Listen,
I knew it was coming. I just knew. I knew. Maybe I'll just sit here in silence.
Get us the cheers, because that way when we're drinking, you can kind of, you know what I mean? Get everyone to raise their glasses, you know? Because they're not going to keep cutting you off when they can't drink
We've all got tins, though. There's no glasses.
Let's say tinnies.
Hang on.
No.
Hang on. Oh.
Old North Korea killer over here has a glass.
Look at this.
El Kim Il Vin.
Camille Vin.
Vin Il Son.
Yeah. Thanks for tuning in for another week. Cheers.